Good morning, good morning, good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the God. It is Monday, July the 27th, 2026.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, getting
Yeah.
towards the end of July, even though it's still dead heat of summer.
Man.
Heat advisory today. It's going to be like about 100. It's going to feel like 114.
Mm,
So
mm.
not looking forward to that, but looking forward to this show. So
Hey.
welcome to everybody who's joining us early this morning on a Monday, setting the intentions for the week. How you feeling over there, buddy?
Man, I'm feeling good. Definitely looking forward to today's show. The topic has actually been on my mind for a couple of days, actually. So definitely excited about bringing this conversation to all of you. Definitely love to hear your thoughts on it. Let us know how you doing. Let us know how your weekend was. All I gotta say is the watcher.
Let's start the show.
All I'll say is this: I talk to all legitimate reporters.
First Sky Omaha.
In the morning. Welcome. Once again.
Hey.
Thanks for joining us on this Monday, July the 27th, 2026. 7:01. If you believe in the concept of time and live in Omaha, Nebraska, my name is Paul B. He's
Paul
Buddy.
B.
He's Buddy to God. What's going on with y'all today? Thank you for joining us. It is a Monday, man. We're kind of back. It feels like back finally. Like we had a
Yeah.
few preliminary early shows. This is the 5th episode of the season so far. And it finally feels like we're getting back on track. And I think that's just because we're back in our home studios. Number
Yeah.
one, yeah, and a few other things. But can't wait to dive in. Lots to talk about. I see RG in the chat saying it's Monday, man. Morning, y'all.
Hey.
What's happening?
Top of the morning.
Yeah, man. He said, yeah, man. He said, if y'all got yard work to do it now. Man, that heat index 114 is going to be feeling like today. They
Man.
said,
Yeah, you don't need to be out there in that yard, in that field.
yeah.
Sweating them bullets.
How'd you fare yesterday? It was kind of that way yesterday too. So yeah, let us know. Let us know. Also, Pops in the chat saying good Monday morning and mad love from Las Vegas. Appreciate you, Pops. Marla Harrison says good morning, First Sky family, and happy motivational Monday. I love that motivational Monday.
There you go.
Yep. Kimmer Snipes gives us a good morning. Boy, you've been hard at work lately, for real.
Hey,
Talk about all the stuff you got going on.
too many jobs, man.
She got too many jobs. Christy Norris says good morning to you as well. Judy Printer says good morning. Went to the Identity Preparatory Academy luncheon last Friday. It was great. Can't wait to hear a report back from you on that. Thank you so much. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, we're really behind this school is doing. I think it's going to do good things for real, and it's getting some attention.
We're gonna talk about it.
Yeah. Donnell Sessions gives us a good morning. Good morning to you. What's happening, cuz? Alan Faison says good morning, First Sky. And also Heather Williams gives us a good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning. Again, this is a Monday, the 27th of July, and we're just getting fired up with the first third 3-hour show today. We're gonna be hanging in there tough today. And because we got lots to talk about and also lots to discuss with you. So if you happen to come in and out, just go ahead and come in and out. You know, do what you want to, do your thing. We'd love it if you stuck with us the whole time. But but we know this is the morning time. You guys got stuff to do, get to work, all that kind of good stuff. Get the yard work done real fast before it gets too hot, all that stuff. And but we're here with you, and we're going to be having this discussion. It's going to be great. Can't wait to dive into some of these things. I've been waiting to hear what you guys have to say about a few of these things in the news in a big way. But before we get to that, buddy, how you doing over there, man? What's going on with you?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, man. Definitely feeling like getting back to a regular schedule program, man. Getting back to my routine. Getting up not necessarily early, but getting up with enough energy to do what I got to do to start my day off, man. Getting back to my push-ups, my calisthenics.
Hey.
Yeah, feeling good on that. Feeling good on that. Shirt's fitting a little tighter. Yeah. Man, also just revelations, like a lot of I guess because it's my birthday month, and I don't know how many of you are into astrology, but we are in a retrograde, and I'm just kind of doing a lot of introspection and getting a lot of messages, man. Like I've had 5 different conversations where the theme in every conversation was your dreams are now your reality, and like
Mm,
this mantra of not dreaming and turning, like, because dreams are a place. I read a article the other day. Dreams are a place where they're safe. Like if a dream remains a dream, you don't have to take the risk of failing at it. It just remains a dream. But once you bring it down to reality, you can fail. It no longer becomes a dream; it becomes a reality. And just in light of some of the things that have been going on in life, realizing that my dream is my reality right now. There is no threshold that you walk through. You just kind of wake up one day and look around like, man, I'm living a life. So yeah, that's just where my mind has been, on top of the things we'll be getting into today, as far as news and politics in the world, things I've been paying attention to. But all in all, feeling good, feeling great.
good,
How are
good.
you?
I'm doing okay. I'm a little bit disillusioned.
Mm, really?
Yeah, I'm realizing as I'm studying and putting things together for this season, how tough this season is going to be. It's gonna be
Hmm.
real tough. One of our major problems, I think, in Omaha is being able to have some teamwork,
Mm,
some coalition. I don't know how to really explain. Like, we are
mm,
very much siloed and separated, and we're up against some heavy, heavy stuff, as we'll be talking about in the news here.
man.
And as I start to bend my mind over to what solutions we can come up with in order to be able to do that, I start thinking about, how do we do this? How do we come together? How do we actually put some teamwork in action? First of all, how do we build the team in first place when everybody else has a lot of different dreams? What is the dream? I like how you framed the first couple episodes. What is the dream? We need to answer
Hmm.
that question in order to even get to the point of figuring out what team to put together for that dream, and how we can do that. I'm also looking around to see, people who are trying to put teams together, what those teams look like. My mind kind of goes to investment clubs and things like that that I have been familiar
Mm,
with in other states.
mm,
There's a group of people that are invested in buying some property in town, that are in town, that are trying to keep the property in town, and then get together 3 or 4 at a time to go into some property together and just kind of build out the neighborhood. But I'm thinking about stuff like this march that just happened with the Father's March. I'm also thinking
man.
about that kind of teamwork. Can it be more than a one-off? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So lots of going on in my mind right now, just about how hard this season is going to be when it comes to figuring out how to build the team, figuring out what the dream is, and getting to the action. So disillusioned, I guess, is the wrong word. I'm a little bit worried about just how difficult. I thought it might be a little bit easier than I don't think it's going to be as easy as I suspected before in order to get to what we're trying to get to this season. So that's what's on my mind right now, and I'd love to hear from you guys about it as well. As a matter of fact, I have to hear from you guys about it. It was like whenever I got something in my mind that I'm a little bit confused about or thinking about how to do, I'm like, man, let me talk to the council on Monday morning, 7 o'clock. Let's talk about it. So
Man.
that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that honesty there. And yeah, that's a part of, the dream becoming a reality. You know what I'm saying? It could be a dream to say, like, hey, and put it in the air, like, yeah, we're all going to get together and it's all going to be kumbaya, handy dandy. But when you bring that down to reality, you see that, hey, it ain't that easy. It ain't that easy. But a big shout out to Sister Kimmer in the chat. It looks like
Mhm.
she has some answers for that question. As she says, one solution is honesty and tough conversations. Some of these people too scared to tell and or hear the truth. Well, one thing I have also been doing is reflecting on my studies, and one of the things that come out of the good book, the truth will set you free.
Mm,
Just saying. Just saying.
heard that. How can we get to one Omaha? I appreciate all the work
Mm.
that you've been doing,
Aha.
Kimberly. Big
See what
time.
you did there. See what you did
Yeah,
there.
and and just seeing your name down there makes me go, you know what? Oh, that's right. One solution is, let's start at the neighborhood level. Um, okay, now it's starting to come to me a little
Okay.
bit about what. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I
This
appreciate
answer.
you. I appreciate you, all the work that you're doing as
Yeah.
well. Thank you, thank you. We'll definitely dive in this season. We have to talk about your the stuff that you got going on, especially that the
Year of the neighbor.
Year of the Neighbor. Thank you, and also Good Neighbor Week is what I was thinking of. Saturday, this is going to be ending up on August 8th. Join One Omaha for free information session to learn what Good Neighbor Week is all about. Definitely go to oneomaha.org and check it out. Or if you know Kimmer Miss Snipes right here in the chat, you can ask her directly. She would be happy to talk to you about it. Go down to the visitor center where the headquarters is now and have a conversation. Let's figure out about Good Neighbor Week, what's behind the information that she's presenting here. And I think it's got my head leaning towards some solutions again to kind of come back to that. So this
Man,
is what
so
I
it's
mean
fun.
by getting up on Monday and talking to y'all and getting feeling good again about maybe we can find some solutions to these issues. I appreciate you guys very much.
There you
Sean
go.
McCarthy's in the chat, man. Appreciate you getting up. He says, "Morning, everyone. Hope everyone had a good weekend and just got back from Chicago and trying to wake up, but this program is doing the job." Okay,
Hey, okay.
glad to
Top of the
hear it.
morning.
Glad to hear it. Kimmer says, "We're getting ready to kick off our podcast at One Omaha." That's what's up. News gang in the house.
Hey.
There
Man,
you
I
go.
saw did the people at Odalale, they have a podcast now? I saw an interview the mayor. You see that?
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah. Shout
Bro,
out.
see,
Shout
that's
out.
what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's going down. Michelle Moreno gives us a good morning, everyone. Appreciate you. Thank you,
Hey.
thank you, thank you, guys. It's already 7:11. You believe in the concept of time. We got time today, though. This is our first 3-hour show. Again, the new schedule is 3 hours on Monday from 7 to 10. No Wednesday this season, and Friday evening from 4 to 6. So shout out to everybody that remembered to come through on Friday evening. We definitely have to build that one back up. Most people are not
Yeah.
used to us doing a Friday thing, a Friday evening thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah, shout out to everybody that came through to that. But please, hit the bell on YouTube, do all the things so you can remember. We're gonna get together on Friday evenings from 4 to 6. Talk about some haps, talk about some Love Supreme, set the intention for the weekend, and wrap up the news for the week. That's kind of the purpose of the Friday weekly wrap evening in the evening show.
In the
So
evening.
yeah, we got a whole
You
new
gotta
jingle.
practice. Yeah, gotta practice on that one. Get it right.
Gotta get it right. In the meantime, between time, thank you so much. Marlon Harrison says, please remember, at the end of the day, everyone has their own lane of change, and that to me is really important. Man, come on with
Hey.
it. Come on with it.
Come on, man. Come on.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, man. Here's a little graphic of the lanes. Don't really put this out too much because we're kind of still working on it, but here are the names of the lanes just so you can remember: strategic communication, which is our lane; political power; cultural space placemaking; also economic power; grassroots action; coalition building, which is the season that we're in right now. Teamwork makes the dream work, and
Yes,
then
yeah.
artist resistance, which is the seventh lane there. Those are the lanes of change that we're calling. And if you have been following us, then you know a lot of our conversations are based on each of these subjects, each of these lanes. And this we're still working on defining what the lanes are and who's in those lanes. And then hopefully when those lanes get together, as you can see, it forms a freeway that can push through. Seven
Man.
lane freeway ain't nothing to mess with.
Nah.
You
Yeah.
can't stop
If you get on the 7-lane freeway, that mean you going places. You going
it,
somewhere.
and you cutting through a lot of stuff.
There you go. There
Getting
you
to
go.
it. So there you go. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys coming through. Appreciate that, Marlon. Give us a reminder. Pop says,
Hey.
"Yep, the Friday shows are fun. Cool, 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 cool."
Thank you. Thank you.
Michelle Moreno says, I'd be forgetting Fridays. I don't get off until 5:15, and I was late this morning because I was out watering. Gonna be a hot one today. Yeah, get your yard work in now, y'all. It's supposed to be a
Yeah.
99 degrees with a heat index that'll make it feel like 114. That's dangerous. People are going to end up in the hospital. The city is saying stay inside if you can.
Man.
It's a heat advisory going on right now. So yeah, please, whatever you got to do it early and all, and take care of yourselves and take care of the loved ones. Check on the grandparents. Check on everybody who can't necessarily get to the air conditioner when it breaks down. Yeah, take a look. Got to happen. I'm gonna get into a little bit of community updates before we get into the news today,
Mhm.
and just there's only a few of them that we're gonna talk about today. Specifically, some Love Supreme stuff that's coming out here. Noma Fest is going down. Shout out to everybody over at Noma who is putting this together. This is gonna be awesome. They're bringing some heavy hitters to town. We've already been talking about it. Mohini Day, Frank McCone, the Barcades, Mono Neon, Keon Harold, and even our own Richie Love is going to be in the
Hey,
house. This is August 13th through the 16th, a few days and a few places I heard this is going to be as well. Riverfront and a few other places. Get some information on this one. Go to NOMA's website and get your tickets. Yeah, come on through. I think it's going to be something that's going to be awesome.
man.
That yeah, it's just kind of setting the tone for what's going on here. I mean, we got major heavy hitters coming to town, man. Lupe Fiasco, Lenny Kravitz. We can go on, and just recently, Diggable Planets.
Hey, did hear about that? I'm kind of thinking, man, Noma might end up being one of the biggest situations in the city. Like the level of talent and all of the locations, multiple day. I mean, what other festivals like that in Omaha?
No festival that I'm wanting to go. Nah, I am going. I do want to go to. I do want to go to Maha because Killer Mike's going to be there for sure. But you're right, major. But look, man, don't be having me call out Diggable Planets and then start talking about something else. This is
My bad, my
don't
bad.
bury the lead on Diggable. This is Diggable Planets. I don't know if you guys are aware of who Diggable Planets is, and if you're not, I don't even know what to say.
Man,
Because this is such a part of everything that I've ever been about when it came to music. Is crazy. So for those of you that don't know at all, the song "Cool Like That," which I'm sure you heard, "I'm Cool Like That."
mm,
Yeah, that's Diggable Planets, but they're much deeper. These cats
yeah.
pretty much invented their own language in rap, which I've studied extensively, borrowed words from, and so on and so forth. These are
Mm,
heavy hitters that are coming here. I'm actually amazed that Diggable Planet is going to be here at the waiting room. So
really?
get your tickets. They just went on sale. Get your tickets. Major shows coming to town for real. So yeah. Let us know. Let us know if you plan on going to that. I have to get a group together with that for real. So I'm gonna finish up here just a little bit. There's something in Friends of First Sky Omaha about a truck route that we are going to have to get some more information on and talk a little bit more about. But Lavanya Goodwin, Councilwoman Lavanya Goodwin, put some respect on her name. She's talking about a proposed truck route changes for Northeast Omaha and North Downtown. Here's what I know about the proposed truck route changes. She says North 16th has long functioned as primary freight corridor through North Downtown. Closing Nichols and a portion of 11th Street will redistribute trucks in the area. This is the change to the route that is being proposed. The City of Omaha's Public Works Department does not know what the actual redistribution looks like, but thinks that most trucks will divert from Nicholas and 11th Street through Carter Lake to Abbott Drive. She says, I was invited to a meeting hosted by the North Downtown neighborhood on Wednesday, June 17th, 2026. During this meeting, I suggested that there be a provocative approach to ensuring that the corridor is safe for pedestrians. It's always been a problem. She says, since then, I've spoken with Senator Turone McKinney about this matter. I propose that another proactive step would be to design a streetcar plan that considers multimodal transportation with an emphasis on pedestrian safety for North 16th Street. She says, currently I'm working to determine if there is a partner in the area who is willing to take on this work. And then she put some additional information down there. This is the route that they're talking about changing up. This has always kind of been something in the back of our minds because of the area that, of course, they're cutting through. There's been a lot of chatter on Friends of First Sky Omaha. Shout out to Clarice Dombeck, who said that she lives in the area and has some things to say. Highly suggest you go back and check out what she had to say on that. And also our own Margie Sturgeon from one of our chat chimer. I'm sorry, our content creator instructors is also
Hmm.
around the area and has some things to say about it. Gave some other information. So we'll continue to look at this because I think this is something that's potentially heavy for the neighborhood, just the traffic and of course the safety issues. I just think about like the semis that drive down 30th Street all the time, like through the Miller Park area, and how dangerous all that really seems. And then all the way, and then back in 16th Street too, like all the semis that are passing through there. The politics that were associated with Mayor Stothard in the North Downtown area, where she was not allowing for a truck route. It was kind of cutting right through everything there in North Downtown. So There's a lot to the story. We'll be looking at it a little bit more closely. Hopefully, have Councilwoman Lavanya Goodwin on the show this season to talk a little bit about that and a few other things, especially in the Deuce. So stay tuned for that. And with that, that's the community news for now. We'll talk a little bit more about other events and stuff like that later. And of course, if you have events and things that you want to highlight and let us know about, let us know here on the chat and also on the group page, Friends of First Sky Omaha on Facebook. And if you're not on Facebook, you can always hit us up with an email, excuse me, firstskyOmaha@gmail.com. So thank you for that. With that, I'm going to pass it over to Buddy to talk about what today's thread is going to be because it's going to be
Man,
pretty extensive. We're going to have
yeah.
lots to talk about today, Buddy. What's going on today?
Yeah, man. That's kind of an interesting thing. Definitely gonna see how these threads kind of unfold throughout these 3 hour shows this season. But looking forward to today's conversation. Touching on a lot of points, but as usual, reaching local, state, and national, even international levels. With today's topic, as far as policing and surveillance. Again, I know teamwork makes the dream work, and we have to talk about a new team that a lot of people are worried about. Again, the U.S. military and their Israeli militaries are teaming up in a new way, and I want to talk about what that means for us. Again, what is the perspective of this, and especially in regards to what the basis of that teaming up is: defense technology and security. Again, there's been a lot of conversation recently about these flock cameras and what's going on both internationally and domestically, especially as we get closer to the upcoming midterm election in November, which a lot of people are, again, this could have a lot of implications, I'll say, as far as the midterm elections and where this country goes. And again, there's a lot of pressure as far as opposition, political opposition. There's been a lot of national security memorandums is the name. I couldn't think of it. But in regards to who's deemed a cybersecurity, a domestic terrorist, some of these anti-ICE protesters have been deemed that. Again, we have a lot to talk about in regards to surveillance and what does that mean for our community. Again, we've been talking the last week. If you missed it, Mayor Ewing did announce again $150 million joint police and fire headquarters to be downtown. There's more details about that. But also, apparently, Nebraska Examiner reporting on a new cybersecurity campus that's going to be in Bellevue. Again, Omaha, Nebraska, specifically, well, Offutt Air Force Base has seen a lot of companies popping up in the cybersecurity space. And what does that mean for testing and surveillance and policing in Omaha? And I'm going to connect that to what Brother Leo Lewis just did. We'll be, of course, talking about some of the wins, one of those being the Father's March that just took place over the weekend. But Brother Leo Lewis, again, that's just a small part in, I think, a bigger picture that he's going for. We'd definitely love to speak to him this season. But over the break, over the summer, we had a meeting with Brother Leo Lewis about some of his approaches to community policing, which is something I definitely want to talk about. So that is today's thread, but we're also beginning into a few other things. Somebody mentioned earlier the identity prep situation. That's another win. Big shout out to Dr. Denisha Phillips and everybody involved with the identity prep. They did have a luncheon over the weekend, starting their fundraising situation. So we'll be diving into that. There's actually a similar situation at my children's school down here in Atlanta. Again, that Omaha Atlanta connection, Afrocentric charter schools. We definitely have to talk about it. Also, other news, Flatwater Free Press is reporting on some changes in corrections, as apparently Nebraska Corrections has scrapped a program that would release some prisoners early, and I'm going to be making some connections to that a little later on. Also, this is something Brother Anthony Rogers Wright kind of teased last week, but now we have the news as far as what Governor Pillen is doing with data centers. And of course, you have to know that there's a connection between the surveillance that we're talking about and data centers, which has been a heavy topic of conversation in the state over the last couple of years, actually. So all of that will be wrapped up. Of course, if there's anything that we're missing, definitely feel free to drop that into the chat. Of course, we are here for the next 3 hours, so plenty of time to have these conversations. As always, though, new times, but nothing has changed. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. In the meantime, between time, Paul B.
Yo.
What's the word? What's the word?
And just to remind you guys before we go to break, it's 7:24 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, and it's already hot. RG said he just stepped outside his front door, his front porch, and it's already muggy. It's supposed to be 99 to 100 degrees today, which is the actual degrees, and then the heat index is gonna make it feel like 114. Pop says he calls 114 just another Tuesday, but out here, you got to watch yourself
Yeah,
because
you
it's not just a clean 114. It's a muggy. It feels like you can't even hardly breathe sometime and be so muggy out like somebody's
definitely.
got a blow dryer just blowing in your mouth. It's bad news. Yeah, bad news. Don't feel good. Don't feel good. Try to stay inside if you can. Watch your loved ones. I appreciate that. Arrows 402 in the chat. Man, Mayor Sanchez always
Hey.
coming with the ideas. Saying I carry small bottles of frozen water in a small cooler and use put them on my spine inside my waistband. Sit on it to help me cool. He does all kinds of stuff to make sure
Mm,
he stays cool. Just ice all over the place. It's the only ice I deal with. Diggable
man.
Planets. Sean McCarthy says this will be a guaranteed sellout. So jump on those tickets. You're right. You're right. You're right. If you're right, you're right. Shout out Sean McCarthy. You also the one that reminded me. Same Lupe Fiasco getting announced the same week as Diggable Planets. Sounded real heavy for Omaha for real.
Hey, hey.
Michelle Moreno wants to go. Appreciate that. Anthony Rogers right in the chat. Good morning. Says it's a good thing the city is using AI to plan for and maintain the streets. Also, RG says, yeah, I don't know if that's North 16th streetcar plan is going to work with all these craters that the current construction is causing.
Hmm.
First hand information on that. And didn't hear nobody's reporting on any of the craters. Shout out RG. Appreciate that. Also, woo, excuse me. Also, Anthony Rogers Rice says many people in Omaha ask, quite frankly, ignorant questions like, "What does Palestine have to do with North O?" People still asking that. Well, folk are about to find out. Police ICE have been tied to Israel for many years.
Mm.
Been saying it for a while.
Man.
We've been checking it out as well, so we'll definitely get in to talk about it. What's your thoughts? I'm gonna go ahead and
Yeah, he just hit me with a revelation. Man,
oh
I know brother Anthony Rogers is right. You're known for the tongue in cheek comments, rubbing people the wrong way. But in this conversation, I would love to hear your input, some information on this Palestine Omaha policing connection. You just actually reminded me we'll be talking about the situation in Atlanta, the brother that wiped his phone. I don't know if you heard about that, but he's tied to Cop City. We got to talk about the Cop City aspect of all this as well. We haven't really talked about it, but we're going to be getting into it today.
for real, for real. Let's take a quick break. 7:27. Again, if you believe in the concept of time, thanks for joining us. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
All be buddy the guy. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddy the God, back in town and in the studio. I tell you what, just the headache of having to try to make the tech work while traveling. I got some work to do on that because that was
Man.
hectic.
Man.
That was hectic. So I'm very happy to be back in the studio today and going for it. And can't, like I said, can't wait to have some more conversation here with you guys today. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Again, if you're just joining us, this is Monday, which means that we will be going from 7 to 10 this morning. It's a 3-hour show on Monday. Just to reiterate the schedule, that's the new schedule, 7 to 10 on Monday, no Wednesday, and then Friday evening from 4 to 6. Write it down, take a picture, set an alarm.
All of that
happen. With that, let's go ahead and jump into the first conversation, buddy. What's first on the agenda?
Yeah, man. Again, a new segment this season in the teamwork makes the dream work ethos. The wins. Going in the theme or in the spirit of starting to show off with the affirmative to, combat this bleed. If it bleeds, it leads type of energy. around here we like to give out flowers while people can still smell them, and 3 wins I definitely want to recognize this show, and starting off with one I already mentioned, where Brother Leo Lewis and the Father's Day March. If anybody was able to make it out to that, please let me know. I got invited. I was not able to make it because of course I wasn't there in town, but hey, if anybody, Brother Leo, if you watching, I need a shirt, send me a shirt. But big shout out to all the fathers, all the children, just all the community that was out there. Did see Senator Terrell McKinney. Also saw Brother Sherman Wells. Just some of the heads out there, man. The brothers out there and doing it for a good cause. Again, black fathers. The stereotype that black fathers aren't present. And man, my father. I have actually 2 fathers in my life, so I don't know that stereotype. But big shout out to those who are showing that that's not the reality. We'll be actually talking about that here in a second. But also, I do want to recognize the sisters as well. Big shout out again to Dr. Darnisha Phillips and what she's doing with Identity Prep Academy. They did have their luncheon over the weekend and starting a fundraiser situation. So again, this is a new situation, but this is definitely one of the examples of the teamwork making the dream work. The dream being, again, us being able to educate ourselves in a way that actually centers and actualizes and recognizes who we are, being so-called quote unquote black people as people. Also, definitely looking forward to seeing that dream become a reality and learning more about the team behind it. Because again, not just the doc, but also we spoke to the Jabanista, Sister Raquel Henderson, and a few other talented sisters that's a part of this situation. And also, I mentioned earlier, my children are a part of a school that just expanded down here in Atlanta. It's the only black-owned charter or black-founded, I would say, charter school, public charter school in the state of Georgia. But as I was sitting there getting ready for the kids to go back to school this year, I thought about identity prep, man. We have to do some exploring on these 2 schools to see how these sisters are really doing it, and again, making the dream a reality. So big shout out to that situation moving forward. And then of course, last but not least, the melanin market growing. If you don't know, the melanin market is a market that highlights and recognizes and features minority black owned businesses. They just had a market over the weekend at the Omaha Design Center. I believe before that it was held at the gathering place, I think. But it is expanding. That's the point. The whole situation is expanding. If you remember last season, in the follow the money season, we kind of talked about the report of the booming black owned businesses in the area. So it's good to see those businesses coming together and good to see that situation growing. Do you know about this melanin market? Definitely check it out. But again, those are the wins for today. Paul B, you see any of that? What you think?
Yeah. Good pick for wins. There's definitely a lot of good wins there. Appreciate that very much. I also wanted to give flowers to Candace Price,
Hey,
who just got recognized as well. If I can find the, of course, I lost the thing. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. All right. Yeah. I'm sorry. 1 second, y'all. I just want to make sure that I give her flowers on what's going on. She's actually featured in Omaha Magazine. That's what it is.
yep,
Featured in Omaha Magazine, and they're calling her a serial entrepreneur, which I admire. I admire people who are serial entrepreneurs that are able to easily start businesses. I was just talking to my father out in the West Coast recently, and we talked about my grandfather, his dad, who was
mm,
a serial entrepreneur as well. He seemed like he just got a notion about something, found a little team, and threw something together, and learned as he went along, and had multiple businesses going at the same time, which is kind of like what
mm,
I see Miss Price doing. So shout out to her. Just want to give a shout, another win that we have
hey,
in town, another resource, a person that has absolutely shown herself to be a resource for all kinds of different things, especially jobs and creating jobs for people and creating business and economy in North Omaha. And shout out to Omaha Magazine for
hey,
recognizing that, man. Once again, this year has been a year of shouting out Omaha Magazine for stepping up
man.
on some things big time. So I highly suggest you check that out. I'll put the link to the article in the chat so you can read it and get to know what's the sister in our community is doing. So that's another win as
Man.
far as I'm concerned. I love starting off with the wins. That's what's up.
Yeah, big time. So appreciate that. I did see that. I wonder who over there, at Omaha Magazine getting down, man. Shout out to my man Doug. Shout out, shout out.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking when Doug came back, things changed up a little
Yeah, a
bit.
little
Shout out.
bit, a little bit, a little bit.
Kimber Snipes in the chat says one Omaha is proud to fiscally sponsor Melanin Market. That's what's up.
Hey,
Definitely check that out. Definitely check Melanin Market out. Good morning, Black Dynamite. Appreciate you coming on through.
peace.
Peace. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So some good things happen. It's always good to start with that positive because it kind of it just reminds you there's people out there doing good work and not just losing all the time. We definitely winning.
Oh
So
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Especially, I mean, the topics we get into sometimes can be heavy. We can get to a point of doom and gloom. So, it's easy to, or it's good to book in the conversation. Start off with some wins and then try to end off with some solutions while we get into the meat and potatoes of the thing. Because yeah, we gotta get into it. We gotta get into it. So, big shout out to those of you tune in with us right now. I did want to. Oh yeah, you already said Black Dynamite giving us a good morning. Shout
mhm.
out to you. And really quickly, I did also want to ask Kimra if they're physically sponsoring Melanin Market. Was it at the Essential Gathering Place last year? I think this again. It's growing. I just wanted to get that right. But big shout out to you for doing that.
Marlon Harrison is giving a shout out to all the fathers who came out Saturday. Whether they are in the home full time or co-parenting, it was a good time.
Man,
There's about 100 people. 100 people showed up.
yeah, yeah. Actually, that is where I wanted to start today's conversation. I'm glad you mentioned that, Marlon. And yeah, if you were out there, definitely, or if anybody else was out there that's listening right now, definitely feel free to drop into the chat. Let us know, what was your experience like? What was it like? What was it about from your perspective? Shout out to KMTV3. Apparently, they were out there reporting on the situation as well. And yeah, again, according to the report, around 100 Black fathers turned 30th Street into a celebration of fatherhood, visibility, and positive role models. Again, shout out to Brother Leo Lewis, who is the organizer of the situation. Again, he says he was inspired to create a day dedicated to recognizing the many Black fathers who lead their families and communities every day. He says it's definitely important for our community to see the presence of Black fathers. Oftentimes, those fathers are not acknowledged and they're not visible to the public. So we wanted to make sure they're visible to the public. And as a quote unquote so-called Black father, I will say that, it can be a thankless job sometimes and it is not easy, but here we are. We make it happen. We make it happen. Beyond the matching shirts and hats and the badge of honor that comes with being a dad, the march was also about unity. One of the people in attendance, Pastor Cedric Perkins, says it helps the community help us understand that men are important, especially in this day and time. Black fathers are important. While the event welcomed everyone, organizers said its mission was to shine a spotlight on Black fathers who they believe are too often overlooked. And I'll end with this quote from Brother Leo Lewis, saying one of the problems that we run into is that Black fathers is often confused with the racial context rather than the ethnic context. And we have ethnic origins to ourselves as quote unquote Black people, but we defined it as the term Black. He says, so it gets mixed up in the racial conversation. So folks say, well, is it only for Black fathers? He says, no, anybody can come and support, but we're targeting Black fathers to ensure they get recognized. And again, we've had several conversations about how the Black family was, by all means, intentionally dismantled, talking about welfare cases. And all of us shared examples of, when our mothers or grandmothers or women in our family, turned to the government for government assistance. That meant a lot of times that the men had to be out of the house. Again, that's a whole nother conversation. But the reality is what Brother Leo Lewis is doing is, as I mentioned earlier, from our perspective, just knowing the work that Brother Leo Lewis does and kind of being familiar with how he thinks, a smaller part of a bigger picture as far as community policing and recognizing the role that men have in that. When I think about this situation, I also think about the Mad Dads. If you're not familiar with the Mad Dads was an organization of fathers who actually came together, teamed up, and went into the schools. I forget which community they were in, but they went into schools and behavior issues, all the things that were present during that time went away. Again, the fathers went into the schools, monitoring the hallways, making sure kids are getting to school, making sure fights are being squashed before they start. And again, that is a model that still hasn't been, looked into as much as it needs to be. And again, I believe we would love to talk to the brother directly, but I believe that's where he is going with this. Paul, what say you?
Well, I was just thinking about Mad Dads, and how it's a national organization now. It actually
Man,
started in Omaha, Nebraska in 1989. So
really?
something else, almost something else that got founded in Omaha, Nebraska. That's
Man,
a
I ain't know
natural
that.
situation, right? Right. Yeah, man. Yeah. So, I remember hearing about Mad Dads and stuff in California and everywhere else. And yeah, so that's what's up. It was a organization they started because they were just tired of what was going on. Somebody's son got attacked by a gang member,
Mhm.
and they were tired of that and jumped into action. So shout out to them for that, and also shout out to everybody. Shout out to Leo Lewis and everybody that put those things together. I was looking at the flyer for this a little
Mhm.
bit earlier, and was seeing some of the people that were involved. Uh, Lamont Gilchrist, some of the names I recognize: Larry Duncan, Pastor Tony Jeffrey. Uh, sh- just a few, Vicky Young, I'm seeing over here. So a few people that got involved with this and was kind of putting this thing together along with Leo Lewis in the ideas that he has behind getting people activated. And the other thing that I think about too is the myth that all
Mm.
black kids don't have a dad or there's not a dad in the house in black families. A lot of people are really happy to see it when black fathers come together, and it always seems to me a little bit like we got to kind of show people that we're here, type of
Mhm.
deal, even though we're here. So I also think of that. I also think, yes, there's problems in the black community. There's problems in a lot of communities where people don't have their fathers. But there's not. But that's not. It's more of a myth than it is a reality. Most
Mm.
black fathers are involved with their kids as much as they can be, and some of them are living right there in the home. A lot of them living right there in the home. I remember doing a little research on this at one point too to kind of when I started got the notion that there was a myth going on out here that everybody's story was in the music industry. We hear this first, I
Mm.
think. It's always the young black boy who doesn't have a dad in the house, and so he turns out to be the big gangster or whatever it is that's going on. And once I realized that that was a narrative, then I go, well, what's the reality here on whether or not that's the case? What's
Man,
the case is most black dads are involved with their kids, so
come on.
marches like this are marches that show everybody else that we can get together and so on. That's kind of how I feel about that one.
Come on. His
But
real name's Clarence.
right. But shout out to Heather Williams who was there. Says it was a great feeling watching them. It is a great feeling to see it in action every time. She says a great panel. Wanda Lewis in the chat giving us a good morning.
Hey.
Good morning to you. Appreciate you coming in. Tony Johnson in the chat saying brothers Eddie Station, Bishop Robert Tyler, and John Foster founded Mad Dads in Omaha. So we got some
Man.
yeah, man, we got some history and some connection to Mad Dads. That's what's up. You didn't know Mad Dads came out of
Nah, I
Omaha?
didn't. I didn't. The story that I was thinking about, I think was in like Louisiana or California. It was like somewhere else where the Mad Dads, had that impact, but I didn't know it started in Omaha. Man,
Yeah,
man,
founded in Omaha, '89. That's what's up. Appreciate you, Tony
man.
Johnson, for giving us the back history there on that. Marlon Harrison says, I truly never understood the stereotype of black dads disappeared from the homes. I know a lot of people who have their fathers in their lives rather they're in their home or co-parenting with the mom. Yeah, I mean, when you used to speak to individual individual people, most of us know, most of us are that's most of our experience that we know that our dads are there,
Yeah.
that black dads are in people's lives. The mother and father may not be together, but that doesn't mean they're not co-parenting and taking care of the family and so on. I think when you got deadbeat dads and stuff like that out there, then they're going to get a lot of publicity, a lot of light shown on them but I don't think that that's the norm. It's just not the norm when it comes to that type of thing. So people got
Mm.
to understand that fact too. It's not the norm that there's not black dads in their kids' lives. They got to know that. They got to see that. I suppose.
Yeah.
But there's just something to it, man. There's always, you know what I'm saying. When it became a narrative in music, then I'm just like, why is this the
Yeah.
story every time? What's that all about?
Man, gotta combat that. That's actually something I think about in my own artistry. Like, what am I falling into those narratives as far as
Mm,
when my pen touched the pad? What's the real narrative that I'm writing? I definitely have to be mindful of that. And I do want to ask you something, Paul, in your personal life, without getting too deep into it. you're, not a father, but you're uncle, and that also plays a role. And I see you interact with little man. I am kind of curious, how do you view your role as an uncle and the importance of that in community in this conversation?
Oh, that's the clearest role that's the clearest role for I have for myself.
Mm,
I had uncles in my life that were so much of an influence. You can hardly distinguish the difference between between me and
I'm
them.
saying.
Everything I'm about is because of the fact that I had my dad, my uncles, my grandfather, my great grandfather in my life. So the men in my life in
Hmm.
general
Hmm.
is definitely prepared me to be the uncle, but especially the uncles that really did give me everything that I needed to be an uncle to my nephew for sure. Um, but I think not just to my nephew, but to all the younger cousins as well, like younger cousins that we have in the family. My cousins now they got kids. When we can get together when we're all in the same place, it definitely always they used to call me Uncle Cousin in Hawaii because
Mm,
uncle is a phrase that you give people in Hawaii anyway. So Uncle Cousin, I was the oldest cousin there, and so they call me Uncle Cousin. So it was kind of like that as well. I kind of been that for everybody. And there is and there's also my sister who I have a sibling who's 10 years younger than me. So for a lot of our
mm,
relationship, I was like her father growing up. We just got to be cool when she got grown. So like
man,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? So she had to get grown first. But
that's
but yeah, so there's an element of of that factor that and not just those family members, but friends
mhm.
and girlfriends, kids, and you always have an opportunity to be a father to people, and you don't have to actually have kids to be it. But that's what I mean. Like there's so much fathering going on in our community that even people like me don't got no kids, still fathering people
Man,
to being father figure to people. So you still got to know what to do when it comes to that.
there you go.
So again, shout out to the men in my family personally that taught me how to be a man and taught me how to be a father figure to people, and my great uncles that showed me how to be a great uncle to my nephew. So yeah, man, that's my personal take on it. I'm glad we're lingering on this a little bit because I think it's
Yeah.
a news for our community, huge news that this march happened. Shout out to Channel 3 who highlighted it, but again, it's got to just be a reminder to people that black fathers are in their families' lives, contrary to popular belief, contrary to the narrative. Read between the lines, hear stories being told by people in that community, like Leo Lewis is doing with the people that went on this march, and hear from the source, so that we can kind of know really what's going on. I think a lot of people take that narrative and go make money with it and do all kinds of
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Yeah, I mean and that's where I want to get into next. The narrative and why what Brother Leo Lewis and all the fathers just did is important because it goes along with our philosophy here, of rejecting the premise that's given to us. Because again, shout out to Ava DuVernay and her documentary 13th. There is some intentionality and there is a plot and there is a bigger thing behind this whole fatherless criminal stereotype that is put on us.
Yeah.
There's some intention behind it. And if you don't know what I'm getting at, check out 13th, the documentary by Ava DuVernay. And when she's done with it, check out 14th as well. But I want to get into this next article from Flatwater Free Press that kind of talks about and gets into the psyche for me as far as, those the powers that be that put these stereotypes on us, why and where they want us to go with it. And it's straight to the clinker, man. It's behind bars. Again,
Well,
Nebraska correction. Go
well,
ahead.
before we get to that, I just wanted to jump into the chat real quick before you get
Oh
to the
man,
next
I ain't
article.
see the
Yeah,
chat going off.
yeah. Anthony Rogers Writer says back in NYC we say Happy Fathering Day to hold up men who aren't necessarily biological fathers, uh, but who are yes yeah, but who are definitely father figures like Paul's describing with Lil Man. I appreciate that. Pop says, yeah, Paul is more like a dad to his nephew than an uncle. It's amazing for me to see it, and always touches my heart. And thankful to him for all he does for his nephew. Appreciate you, pops. Tony Johnson says uncles can talk to you in a way where you better understand what your father was telling you. Very true. Very true. That's definitely my experience too, for real. Gene Pendergrass, new name in the chat. I appreciate you. Says in 1980 in 1995, Mad Dads were honored at the Essence Awards by Eddie and Gerald Levert, who sang "Wind Beneath My Wings." I remember that. I remember that. Okay. Thanks for the
Y'all coming
memory.
with the history, dang.
Marlon Harrison says, I think when it comes to the black family, a lot of people want two parent households, and I always push back and say if the relationship is better apart, let them co-parent. Okay, there you go. I do. Yeah, that's interesting take on that as well, and I agree with you. I think that when this kind of white picket fence nuclear family that white folks try to act like is the norm isn't the case when it comes to certain families. They try to they don't give the honor to the people that are in the kids' lives, whether they're there married or not. And I think that's one of the reasons why that feeds into the stereotype that they aren't around. But I don't want to. I also don't want to downplay the fact that we have been over incarcerated as well, which has split up the black family. Also, you mentioned earlier if our sometimes when our moms and grandmothers and people had to get aid, the men couldn't be in the house. But I don't want to make out to be that all of our moms and grandmothers had to get aid and push the men out the
Mm.
house. That was also a very small percentage of people, an anomaly, and most people that are on aid are not even black. So there's a few things that we got, also some caveats that we got to put in there when we talk about this as well, for the people that are listening that aren't in the black community and don't already inherently know this. So I appreciate everybody who allows us to be able to reiterate these things for the most part. Also, RG in the chat says, for the Urban Survival Club, we try to be the best fatherly figures we can to these young boys.
Man.
Thank you for reminding me and bringing that up. I definitely see that with you guys. I see that with Untamed. I see that with BAA. I see that with I see that with a few organizations out here that are there for these young kids as well. And even this is what I mean by a lot of people are making money off this narrative. That some of these organizations could be out here getting funding and making money with this story that we need to be a father in these kids' lives. But you guys are fathers to these kids, and some of these kids got fathers in their lives because you need not just the father, you need also uncles, you need also mentors, you need also coaches, you need all these other figures in your life as a kid. So the work that you guys are doing isn't necessarily because these kids have no fathers. Some don't, but some do, and it's still valuable help. So I
Man.
really appreciate you reminding me about Urban Survival Club and the work that you guys are doing. And I always want to give you guys a shout out for the only organization out here that's really boots to the roots with the kids that sometimes are in trouble, real deal trouble. I only see Untamed, BAA, Urban Survival Club, and people like that really directly being a part of these kids' lives and giving them something else to do, and being father figures to them, even if they have fathers.
Man, I didn't plan on harping on this long, but that's the beauty of a 3 hour show, huh?
Hey.
But yeah, man, I appreciate where we're going in this, and actually, it's kind of dawning on me that the answer is right in front of us. What we're talking about is the village, because I had two active, strong, moral fathers in my life, and I still ended up facing 1 to 20 years in high school.
Right.
I still ended up being a knucklehead and going out and doing dirt. But it was the other men in my life that kind of pulled me back and saved me from that. It was a Mr. Wiley, rest in peace. It was brother Gene Haynes. It was brother Osman and the good brothers at Omega Sci-Fi, and who were mentors of mine during Squires. It was all the men, the coaches. I mean, all the men that were around me in the community that kind of helped me get straight when I got on the cricket path. Even having a mom and two dads at home, a stepdad and then my actual father still in my life. So yeah, it's definitely about the village, and that is the team when you think about it. And this is the dream. You know what I mean? Like, the village is really how we make that work. And another thing I've been looking into is matriarchal societies and matriarchal makeups, and what that means. And definitely uncles being having a role, and fathers having a role, and just how those societies and cultures kind of operate feels more akin to how our homes naturally just work. So yeah, if you want to look into matriarchy and matrilineal societies, definitely do that. Kind of open your mind a little bit so you can reject the premise But yeah, the village is the team, and you're right. There's some efforts there to break that village up, and mass incarceration is definitely one of those.
Definitely, and we definitely have to talk about it. Marlon Harrison in the chat says, "I love being an uncle. Says I spend 2 hours with them and spend them and send them back to their parents high on sugar." Yeah, I'm definitely the let's play hooky today, uncle. You
Mm.
gotta break loose a little bit. And it's interesting. I didn't realize as a kid how much that those uncles that let you get away with stuff is still in cahoots with the parents. I didn't really get that when I was a kid. It's kind of it's planned. It's like the parents get to set down the rules, and then and even if they are want to allow their kids to kind of like do a little something extra, they can't be the ones that let them do a little something extra. It's got to be the uncles. It's got to be the aunties come picking you up and letting you sip champagne at 9 years old. Stuff all that
Little,
little stuff they used to
little good cop, bad cop.
do. Right. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. I appreciate that, Marlon. You cracked me up with that, but appreciate you being an uncle. Appreciate you enjoying being an uncle as well. So that's huge. Appreciate that very much. And everybody else, man, love to hear your experience. How did the men in your life affect you? How did the what were the men in your life? Were they your family members? Were they teachers? Were they coaches? Were they uncles? Were they grandfathers? For me, like I said, I had a pretty male dominated upbringing with a few uncles, 3 or 4 uncles that served as my first employers, and then grandfather who well, this is why I was shouting out Miss Price, because I got serial entrepreneurs in my family. My grandfather and great grandfather. My resume just looks like Allen Family Lawn, Allen Family Properties, Allen Family. My resume for the first like 6 or 7 years is all the family businesses. So and they kind of taught me how to work, how to run business, how to do a lot of things, and then also I had the music side of the family that taught me a lot of things. So again, I can't stress enough the need for multiple figures, and not just. And we talk about patriarchy and we talk about matriarchy. Really, it's the village. Like I also have my aunts' businesses that I work for, and I'm also very influenced by my aunts in my life as well. I just got to spend some time with them out in with my aunt Gail out in Vegas just recently, and it's always a good time. It reminds me of all the times that I was influenced by her and my cousins and everybody as well. So it really kind of takes the whole village,
Come on,
and
man.
it doesn't, it's not one group over another that's more important than another. It is that you need to have all well-rounded folks around you to kind of show you all sides.
There you go.
RG says Paul Mooney remix. Everyone wants to be an unk until it's time to be an unk. Ariel's 402 says alcohol and tobacco are gateway drugs. Man, yeah, man. I kind of see where you're going with that for sure. Also, Black Dynamite says it takes a village you always hear about. And this is good. This is the season where we define what the village is. Who is the village? What is the village?
Hmm.
It's a good
How's it
question.
work?
And what do we want for the village? Like, is the village, what's the dream? The dream is to be able to have your children kind of grow up in a well-rounded situation and be safe and educated and prosperous. And how do we make that happen? I'm not a parent, but I'm definitely know that that's the mission of all adults. I got to be that for people that ain't my kids. I still got to be that. We got to we got to grow a community of children that can thrive. Or else, what are we doing? Is that the dream?
I don't
Is
know.
that how we make the dream work with that team, with that particular team? These are all questions that we're going to explore this season in a big way. Brother Anthony Rogers Wright was talking about some things earlier. We're going to come back to that, the Cop City discussions and those things. But first, we'll jump into some breaks because we are coming to the top of the hour. Second hour coming up very shortly. It is 7:59 right now, if you believe in the concept of time. So stay tuned. We'll take a quick break, smell the coffee beans, come back into the second hour and dive more into some of these stories and discussion. Stay tuned. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Hall B, Buddy to God. Be right back,
Hey,
y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Buddy trying to get his audio together there. Okay.
Yeah, man. We
Give
should
yourself
be
some
okay.
volume again. Right on.
Check.
Check 1 2 1 2. While you're doing that, just want to also shout out one more organization that's doing some things. Shout out to Empowerment Network. Shout out to the Step Up program, who is now getting ready to do some mentorship all year long. I just saw a flyer for. Uh, hold on, where'd he go? There he is. Okay. So yeah, Empowerment Network. So we're gonna dig into that again. We're constantly always trying to get somebody from Empowerment Network over. They're busy doing the work all the time, but we're gonna get them on the show this season and have some more conversation about what's going on and what they're doing. But shout out to them. Shout out to the Step Up program. I know a lot of people have benefited from the Step Up program. Even people in the chat, people, some of the ghost listeners, and the people that have been a part of that program. There's certain kids that are on certain levels that also need that kind of assistance. Buddy always reminds me of that when he talks about his solid family unit that but he still needed some outside influence and some help and some mentorship and help steer the ship, because anybody can get themselves into a messed up situation, and that's just what it is. Same with me, same with everybody. We all have been down the road that somebody pretty much saved us from. For me, it definitely has been. I've had the ability and privilege to be able to I look at the future differently. I look at people in my life always give me a glimpse of what it can be if I don't get it together now, and for whatever reason, uh that's how I've been able to do things. Y'all good? Okay, okay, all right, cool. So that's how I've been able to do things. But there's also been people who directly stepped in and was like, "Hey, you messing up. Let's get it together." So and there's also indirect things like the Step Up program. To me, like it's not there's not sitting down with kids and saying, "Listen, your life is going in the wrong direction. You need to blah blah blah." It's, "Hey, why don't you do something different this summer? Why don't you come take this job? What do you want to do for a career? Let's focus on something else as well." So the focus is there too. Like we talk a lot about just trying to step in and be able to be mentors and help for kids, and it's not always about when they're going off in a different direction. But there's organizations out there like 100 Black Men and the Step Up program that deal with kids in a different way. They're kind of saying, "Hey, instead of us, focusing so much on the direction that you're going, how about we just focus on a new direction? How about we give you some ideas on, let's have a discussion about what you want to do with your career, for instance." Which I know that they're a lot about. So shout out to them, Marla Harrison. I know you're in the chat. I know that you always have some great things to say about the Step Up program. Who knows? We may have chat chimers or ghost listeners that are a part of the Step Up program, that have been part of that, and the Skill Up program. I thought was interesting too, because it's not just kids that need that; it's adults that sometimes need to skill up. And we always talk about family support. That's one way to do it. So shout out to them. Shout out to all the organizations that are out there providing opportunities for mentorship and providing opportunities to steer the ship, to steer these kids in different directions and all that good stuff. That's what's up. Appreciate that. Shout out to everybody who's joining us today. Do us a favor, share the show. If you're on Facebook, share it on your page. If you're on YouTube, then share the link with somebody who you think might benefit from these conversations. Love for you to help us expand the listenership and the viewership. And just to let you understand, just to reiterate again, the schedule, we have a new schedule this season, season 5B. The schedule is Monday from 7 to 10, 3-hour show on Monday now. We're skipping Wednesdays, no Wednesday show, but be looking out for content and things that are going to be dropping around midweek as well from some other things that we're working on. And then our Friday show has moved to 4 to 6 p.m. So it'll be First Guy Omaha in the evening. That's happening on Friday, and then also that correlates with our weekly rap newsletter drop as well. So that's the new schedule, and we're right in the middle of it now by being in the second hour of First Guy Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Buddy sounds like he's back, crisp and clean, no caffeine.
Yeah. Had to get right.
Had to get right. That's what's happening. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the conversation. Thanks for joining us again. Please be a part of the conversation. We want to hear your comments on all these things. We'll revisit some of the comments that we skipped, when we get to those subjects. But, buddy, what's next on the agenda?
Yeah, man. Again, sorry, one second. Again, we were kind of setting it up, teasing in the later half of this past hour as far as the premise. And you know, again, definitely big shout out to those of you who joined the conversation, kind of shared some of your thoughts on the village and the role that men have in the community. And we're going to round back around to that and some of the community policing things that Leah Lewis is doing. But again, we have to tell you why that is even a necessity. Again, why the community and this conversation of community policing and village and the teamwork and the dream work is necessary, because we all know that there are forces, there are people out there who don't want that. And, you know, point in case is how Nebraska's prison system is being handled. Of course, we do know that it's overcrowded. It's been overcrowded for several years, but overcrowded with who is definitely a valuable question. As we know that the disproportionality of the population of Nebraska's prison system paints a certain picture. And it is very interesting when you see moves like what the Flatwater Free Press is reporting on, as far as, again, the move to stop a program that was meant to release some prisoners early. Again, the overcrowding emergency, federal overcrowding emergency in Nebraska has been ongoing for several years. Not much has gone towards the direction of eliminating that. And in fact, we've seen a lot more money and attention and effort being pointed towards building more prisons. And again, it's even being reported that that prison will be overfilled by the day it opens. So definitely going in the wrong direction. But again, as Flatwater Free Press is reporting, in an email, the corrections administrator sent a link saying that one of the programs, the PATH program, which again is slated to help some get out early, has been paused. Nebraska prison officials say they scrapped a proposal to release some state prisoners early amid criticism from lawmakers and callbacks to past controversy. Senator Terrell McKinney, who's been central. Of course, he's been very vocal on this platform during our senator ciphers about, you know, his battles and his perspective on Nebraska's corrections situation. And he says, I think they were looking for a way to move people out without having to go through the legislature, or to answer to him, in other words. He says, I think once your story came out talking about Flatwater Free Press, they started to see some legislative pushback. Again, the PATH program appears to have hit a dead end, and despite some support for the general concept of letting prisoners who are nearing the end of their sentences out early with intense supervision, as the state grapples with, of course, prison overcrowding. Also, Senator McKinney and State Senator Carolyn Bosden, who's a Republican, chairs the Judiciary Committee, and each said that they weren't aware of any legislative efforts to create a similar route out of Nebraska prisons. Again, not much effort towards combating this overcrowding situation. And, you know, to your point, Paul, it almost seems like Nebraska has decided and going in the direction of more policing and more, you know, more of the same, as we've been seeing. I'll say that. And I'll end with this. Again, the state has long had some of the most overcrowded prisons in the country. Let's remember that. Though department leadership has disputed that, we all know the facts. McKinney previously drew a connection between the PATH proposal and the state converting its McCook work ethic camp to a federal immigration detention center, saying this kind of program serves a purpose. It could serve as an incentive for well-behaved prisoners while saving state taxpayers money, which is a whole nother conversation. But again, the initial plan lacked specific details, though, including who could qualify for this program. So again, as we talk about policing, and we'll get deeper into it with this whole community surveillance campus that's going out in Bellevue, Nebraska, and some of the other things happening as far as corrections goes. This just the overall feel like this is where they want to put us. And, you know, definitely some of the ICE things, some of the things going on with birthright citizenship, some of the Jim Crowism we're seeing at the national level, knowing that prisons are basically the new plantations. It's a real conversation that we have to talk about. And again, the surveillance that we'll be getting into throughout the rest of the show is an indicator of the direction that we're going.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much said it all. We've been talking about the overcrowding of the system for years and years and years, and I mean, we've been doing this show 5 years, and it seems like we've
Man,
been talking about it the whole time. So, So the fact that there's nothing that can be done there on that, that these initiatives get pushed back is unfortunate. And I know Senator Terrell McKinney, as you stated, has been on this show speaking about this and working on these things for a long time. So I know he's not happy about it, but we definitely will reach out to him, have him back on the show for some Senator ciphers and talk about it. But yeah, I think it's really insane. Anthony Rogers right in the chat is saying there can't be community policing without the community, and there can't be community without an independent police resident review board with the power of subpoena. I appreciate that. We need to definitely keep pushing on that. I know that when we had our interview with Mayor Ewing, the very first one that we had as he was coming into the becoming a mayor, we asked him that question about some oversight. He said he would look into it, and then of course we've been talking to the senators about that as well. Senator Terrell McKinney specifically has been pushing for some oversight committee situations, and we've put the call out as well here on this show several times for that. So this is something we need to follow up on and see if we can't get back to working on getting that. Kimmer Snipes in the chat says it will be nice to hear from senators on any interim studies they are paying attention to. Those hearings would happen. Those hearings would happen this fall. Okay, we'll definitely note that. Definitely note that. That's a good idea. Find out what interim studies they're looking at. Definitely. Appreciate everybody who's joining us here on this and chiming in on this subject. If you have any insights on this as well, please let us know. And I was kind of trying to look it up to see who initiated this program in the first place. I was reading, I kind of got lost in the rabbit hole on that because there's so many other reentry programs out there. Of course, we've been working with the 180 RAP reentry program at Metropolitan Community College. Shout out to Diane Good. And I know that they have a similar program that's kind of a wraparound, program for people that are just coming out, getting them some resources. If they make it easier when you can at the end of your sentence, you can take some classes. You can do some things that'll help your reentry situation. And I know that that's part of the. I know that a lot of inmates have gotten out early because of the fact that they are involved in these programs as well. So I don't know if the programs are something that could help the situation. If this one sounds like this was a actual corrections program, not another program from a different organization like 180 RAP or Rise.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate they're going in that direction. Um, but it doesn't. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised they're going in that direction. So
Nope.
again, like I said, we've been on the other side of it where people are actually fighting to be able to help people get out. The senators, the programs, all these things are designed to help people avoid get out as soon as possible and not go back, not have the recidivism. And so we've been on that end of it so long. I just can't even fathom why they would decide this is not a good idea on the state level. Is what it is. So again, I think the dream is to make it so that people are not can get out as soon as possible and not go back. So whatever they need to be able to have that is what the team needs to get together and try to make work. In my opinion.
Yeah, but again, that's our opinion. We never haven't still gotten like to the bottom of what the state is really getting out of this holding the most overcrowded prison system. Because I do feel like if there wasn't some bottom line, if there wasn't some tax dollars, if there wasn't something like, why is there not more energy being put towards, getting these people back in society, getting them back in the workforce, elevating the tax base, which we all know is struggling right now in Nebraska. Yeah. So you would think, but no. Rather than that, we're doing things like spending $150 million on a police headquarters. Actually, this Nebraska Public Media article is actually putting the price tag at 180 million. So it's actually gone up. The earlier report was 150 million. Now I'm seeing $181 million facility will quote unquote move us into the 21st century. Talking about the new public safety headquarters that's planned to take shape along the long-awaited Crossroads development located at 72nd and Dodge. While we're talking about community policing, that is one aspect I am curious to see how that plays out in this facility. If you don't know, again, Mayor Ewing announced this just last week and now the 275,000 square foot development is slotted for a 3.2 acre site around Cass and Chicago streets near 74th, again, where the old Crossroads used to be. Again, it's estimated to hold more than 300 public safety professionals across both the Omaha Police Department and fire departments. The public will not see police sirens or fire trucks, so I guess that is important. This won't be like a hub where they will be dispatching from. This will more so be an office building. But also in the article, it does state that there will be a community aspect of it. Again, Chief Touch Mater, he says, with this new headquarters, it will really focus on our community policing aspect because there will be shared community space, an opportunity for the community to come in and be a part of our building. You don't really have that where we're at right now. Again, the voters, if the voters approve the bonds in November, the design phase would continue into late 2027. The construction begins and would begin in January 2028, and then the project is slated to be completed by 2030. Again, there is an opportunity for people to speak up on the situation. I'll see if I can find that date because it's not in this article. But yeah, here we are with this situation, and I really appreciate your point of the location of it, right at Freedom Corner, one of the most active spots in the city as far as political activation, civic engagement, protest, the people speaking out, and then some of the pressures that we've seen from the Trump administration and trickling down to the city and state levels as far as pressures against protesters. I do find that interesting as far as the location of this new spot.
Yeah, I definitely think so too. Uh, I I kind of see their strategy here on creating this. This is kind of like a public facing situation here, so that the public can get involved in worshiping law enforcement, if for lack of a better term. And the way that they got it set up, I'm thinking about what's going to be directly across the street from here, which is the library, the
Hmm.
brand new central library. This also welcoming, futuristic looking building that that they want people to come in and out of. And yeah, for this to be across the street is pretty. It feels menacing, and just not. We discussed this on Friday. It is so not the vibe for the corner, for this to be this, but it's par for the course. It really does seem to me. I really do fully understand what their tactic and motive is here behind this. I really see it. I can really understand why they think this is a good idea, and I can see it in what they just addressed. They addressed the fact that there's not going to be like police and fire trucks running out of this building, all up and down Dodge, and disrupting everything all the time. It's also very visit oriented. You can come and talk to law enforcement. They are claiming that this is going to help, community policing. I guess this is where like the community will maybe get together to however community policing looks to them. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
yeah, it doesn't. It just is rubbing me as this kind of shining beacon of law enforcement that they want to put out public facing. Um, Kind of in a propaganda kind of way, a little bit,
Hmm.
in that way of look at how civilized our law enforcement is. Or I'm not, I'm kind of just talking off the cuff right now, but this is I'm just trying to express like how what it is that it feels like that is right here on this corner across the street from the Central Library on Freedom Corner, which is like you said, a lot of political activity, protests start, all kinds of things go down here on this corner, and it's kind of also on the edge of North Omaha. I kind of feel like that's kind of the boundary there, 72nd Street, a little bit, and they're touting this as the kind of public safety type of situation as well. What exactly is the police going to do here? What exactly is the fire department going to do here if they're not being dispatched from this area, from this building? Now I'm really kind of being like, well, what's it for exactly?
Yeah.
I
Well,
kind of like to know.
according to the article, the facility would include investigative units, a forensic laboratory, emergency medical services support, a real time crime center, which is real time crime center. I want to. I'm gonna come back to that one. Evidence processing and fire prevention and public education programs. So there will be programs. What that looks like, I don't know. They're gonna have Smokey the Bear out there teaching people. I really don't know.
Only you
Um,
can prevent your
but on a serious note, I definitely understand what you're feeling, and it's not just this building. Like in general, it does feel like there's still a blue line that's being held, if you know what I mean. Because it's not just this new shiny, building for police and fire, but it's also this cybersecurity
Ooh,
campus that's being built out in Bellevue. I don't know if you heard about this, but this is being reported by the Nebraska Examiner. And pay attention to some of the price tags attached to this stuff. Like, there's a lot of money being poured into policing and cybersecurity and defense and security, and like all of this stuff went like you.
surveillance.
So yeah, man, and it's just like, is that the answer? Like, it seems like, again, just buying bigger guns and investing in more policing and surveillance and security isn't the answer. Like, when are we going to start investing more and more into people? I don't know. But again, Rare Bellevue Cybersecurity and Defense Tech Campus poised for takeoff, as the headline reads. Again, it's coming from Nebraska Examiner. Shout out to Cindy Gonzalez on the report. But again, it says, now that its main tenant has been nailed down, an agreement signed, a campus focusing on national defense technology in this military heavy Nebraska town should start to take shape. That's the word from the city of Bellevue officials working with anchor tenant Nebraska Defense Research Corps on the long planned research engineering architecture collaboration hub, also known as the REACH facility. The REACH complex, envisioned as a secure space occupied by researchers, startups, private industry, and defense contractors. Just a whole home campus for the military complex. This price tag is set to receive $50 million in state funds, just $50 million in state funds. But in total, the private public investment could be about $300 million. Set again, that's just in these two projects. That's $500 million being invested in police infrastructure, security, and this force. It is to be a centerpiece of a broader neighborhood dubbed Prairie Hill Farm Collaboration Campus that is planned could span about 45 acres just northeast of Highway 75 and 34, not far from Offutt Air Force Base, and use the strategic command, also known as STRATCOM. So again, a whole military industrial complex campus right in the heart of Omaha. Over time, could apparently, according to the article, over time, this whole campus could actually surpass $600 million in private and public investment. Partners have said that, and feature housing, hotels, retailers, and entertainment venues designed to attract high tech workforce needed for reach. So again, they're doing all the bells and whistles and all the things to entice and invite the workforce in order to supply a labor force for this military industrial complex. Let's just call it what it is. And again, we're going to get into how this military industrial complex is going, but these are the local rumblings of a very big national and international situation.
There you go. Kimmer Snipes in the chest says, I haven't seen anyone from the community in support. Also, Black Dynamite says, why does it need to be in the middle of the city at 72nd and Dodge to tell, to me, it seems like a flex. That's what I mean. I'm glad you put it that way. That's kind of what I meant by that. Like, it definitely seems like a flex. And I'm sure that they have all the reasons why these things are necessary. We are going to have to come back to this idea on this particular building here. Real time crime prevention, or whatever that phrase was that you. Yeah, we'll have to come back to that as well. Also, Kimber in the chat says, I will say the irony in it being close to the library is interesting. Libraries have roving officers. Libraries have roving officers. There you go. Anthony Rogers Rice says, don't get it twisted. It would also act as a mini data center to process all of the surveillance, flock cameras, and drone data. Again, the mayor is copying out big time. Copying out big time. COP, the cop side. Kimber in the chat said, between the library and my old neighborhood, I encountered the police so much, I started having panic attacks. Wow. And now we're going to have a lot more police presence on that corner. She says when people demand in numbers, we're talking about how how to demand change there on that. Arrows 402 says it makes sense to have the stations there question mark as long as they are providing protection to protests, first aid, proper form processing, etc., and not trying to prevent protests and allowing things to remain peaceful.
Nah, man.
I
And
think
just imagine, like, just really quickly, imagine if remember when the George Floyd protests were going there and they were shooting people with rubber bullets in the face, tear gassing people, and now there's going to be a police headquarters right there at that. They're going to try to act like people trying to break into the headquarters. We got to protect this headquarters.
yeah,
That's pretty much the end of Freedom Corner, if you ask me.
or where the war at Freedom Corner starts. Yeah, definitely leaning towards a certain feeling about this thing. I think we better reach out to somebody who is behind this. Maybe the chief, maybe the mayor, maybe whoever planning this, because that's still a question for me too. Like, how did this come up? We we are deep into hearing and a part of when the public gets to be able to speak up on something or the news of something happens. This seemed like it was sprung on everybody, like they had already planned this out. It was already ready. It's already a done deal. When did they reach out to the community about it? Not sure. Um, and what is it again? Like, what exactly is it? Because
The
I still
headquarters.
kind of don't know. I still kind of don't know. Yeah, interesting. Black Dynamite in the chat is saying, y'all should have somebody from the Black Firefighters Union come. That's a good idea. Come on the show. I heard yesterday that they had more blacks and people of color apply than ever before. Great. Yeah,
Interesting.
we'll have them on for that, and also have them on to talk about this new facility. They're
Yeah.
a part of that too. It's a co facility with the fire department. So love to hear that for sure. Appreciate that, and appreciate everybody who's in that conversation with us on that. Yeah, buddy, you're painting a picture here with these two facilities being a lot of money spent on these two facilities, and I think everybody's kind of feeling that way about the surveillance part of it. We kind of last season really started to understand and uncover and talk a lot to the community about the fact that these data centers, proposed data centers, are really there's a lot of surveillance that's happening for these data centers. It seems to be the real reason why there's so many of them. We're blaming AI and stuff like that before, and now we're kind of seeing, along with all these reports of flock cameras and other kinds of surveillance equipment and stuff like that, and how these how this is going. Anthony Rogers Wright talked about this will be a mini data center as well, processing and everything else. And where is the building that they were at before? One of the reasons why we discussed this on Friday, one of the reasons why this building is coming into existence, the one on 72nd, is because they have asbestos and stuff like that in the original
Yeah. On
department.
Farnham, I think.
And is that the one that has the jail attached to it that they're talking about moving out of?
I believe so. One on Farnham.
So
Right across the street from Mixon's.
right. So when does anybody ever go over there as a community resource? That's not that's a straight police office.
Mm-hmm.
And right across the street is where the fire department gets deployed from. I know that because I had a family member that was living in the building, and that's all they heard all day every day was the fire
Yeah.
trucks leaving in
Yeah.
that area.
Man, I can
Uh,
imagine.
but I was just thinking about, like, the way this is being presented as this kind of neighborhood. The public will be able to come and interact with the police, and we can talk about community policing and all these other things at this place. It's not what's going on now at the one they're leaving. That's
Well,
not.
I guess that's what they're saying is supposed to be one of the big changes is now that this new facility will have that space and will have that capability. But it's one thing to have the space and it's another thing to have the infrastructure. Like what community policing infrastructure exists now? Like I don't,
Mm,
you know what I mean? Like yeah, you can build the space, but is there any groups with any teeth to actually do any real community policing, or is it just a space
yeah, good question.
like the downtown kid jail? That's a whole nother conversation.
Black Dynamite in the chat. A lot of admin work would happen in that building, I'm sure. Yeah. Um, Ariel's 402 says, I believe ordinance can be filed to designate protesting areas, which I kind of feel like is the opposite of protesting. You're not really protesting if you're going to get a license to protest.
Ask
Uh,
for hey, can I go over there and
and protest.
express how I don't like what you're doing?
Yeah, that's the deal. It's the people's city. It's the people's street. The people go where they want to go and express what they want to express. That's what the freedom that they always talk about. Everybody's fighting for all the time is supposed to be about.
Freedom of assembly.
Yeah. Anthony Rogers Wright says designated protest areas are nothing more than controlled opposition. Protests are not supposed to be to make people feel comfortable. Yeah. Otherwise, it's a parade, bro. If you got to get a license, be on the street to do something, to march down it, then that's a parade license.
Man, do we not have the freedom of assembly, the freedom of speech? Do we
Nope,
have it or not?
we don't. So we got to get together and get it back. Shout out to everybody who's commenting here today. Thank you for joining us. We're in second hour right now. We'll take a quick break. It's 8:31. If you believe in the concept of time and live in Omaha, Nebraska, appreciate you guys joining us today. Another hour and a half in the show. Much more to talk about, so stay tuned. Yeah. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Be right back, y'all. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God. Appreciate you guys coming on through. Do us a favor, share the show. If you're on Facebook, share it on your page. If you're on YouTube, share the link. Anybody who wants to come in and continue the conversation and be a part of the conversations that we're doing. Don't forget, it is voting season coming up November. Of course, we have the 6 to dismiss. That shout out to Precious McKesson who put these ideas out there on who it is that needs to go, according to her, according to a lot of us, and then of course we're going to be trying to talk to some of the people that are trying to get in those seats come November. This is definitely that season, even though this is teamwork makes the dream work.
Man,
For us, it is voting season. A lot going on when it comes to that. Also, just want to acknowledge, just stay tuned for the special guests that we got coming through. We're going to continue the Senator Cipher. We're going to continue the monthly meetup with the mayor, and work on some other segments as well throughout the series, as far as especially people who are coalition building, putting teams together, and what it is that they're doing for those teams to put those teams together. A lot of times we got to kind of broaden that definition of what the team is. Sometimes a lot of people starting nonprofit organizations with small teams to conquer a problem. That's a version of how people put together teams, especially here in Nebraska, in this nonprofit industrial complex that we got going on here, especially in Omaha and other in surrounding areas. I think about Dr. Darnisha Phillips and the School for the Girls and the team that she put together for that, and nonprofit that she's running for that to make a difference. That's a version of some teamwork, putting the team together for that. How does her school and an organization like IB Black Girl, how do they team up? How do organizations team up? These are a lot of kind of some of the things that I kind of been thinking about and trying to research and figure out for this season. Because if we're going to talk about teamwork making the dream work, we gotta address the fact that a lot of us are doing a lot of things in silos in our area, and doing things in a silo means that there's a lot of duplicated activity. There's a lot of disjointed activity. There's a lot of efforts going into certain things that some you can kind of compare. Some organizations are doing better than others with it, or there's a lot going on here where it's like the coalition building really needs to be us figuring out who's in what lane and how to put those lanes together,
Man,
and we gotta just gotta continue to try to figure that out, work on that.
that's what it's about. As we kind of explore this team dynamic, and again, I appreciate you starting off the show with your disillusionment, as you put it, or just your worries about teamwork and how to really put this together. Because that is reality. Again, there are a lot of silos, but I don't know how familiar you are with football, but I'll be breaking down this analogy throughout the season, but I liken it to football. Again, sports analogies are always working these types of things, but football in particular, I think of that because it is a it's the ultimate team sport. If you understand, like football is made up of, it's a team of teams. That's all football is a team of teams. Like you have, yeah, because football breaks down into three phases. You have your special teams, which they have a specific job. Their job is to kick the ball, retrieve the ball. Like they have a specific job within that team. Then you have your defense. They have a specific job. Then you have your offense. These are all three different teams that make up one football team. And even within those three groups, you have your line, you have your linebackers, you have your, you know what I'm saying? Like even those teams break down into more teams. So kind of, studying how football teams work together and how that teamwork dynamic works kind of is more apropos to what we're talking about, as far as not necessarily breaking up the silos. Like, okay, if that group is doing a job, that group is doing a job. How can all of this come together without everybody, having to come together? Like, do your job and let's put it all together. That's just a quick thought.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely where we're trying to get to. I know there's a lot of chat chimers in the chat, and also ghost listeners that are also a part of those things as well. I'm thinking about Anthony Rogers Wright and some of the groups that you put together for certain subjects. A lot of the environmental stuff that you guys are fighting for, and so on and so forth. And just coalition building in general. You're from a different place where there's a different kind of coalition building going on, and you usually try to bring that here and into Omaha and try to figure that out too. So I'd love to hear more about that. We'll talk more about those types of things as we go. A lot of the teams that I see happening in business right now, I think are very important, especially with the millions of dollars that's coming in to North Omaha at the moment. Kind of drove through the park, the Carter Lake area recently, and saw what they were doing with that sports facility out there and how that's been built out, what that looks like. And it reminds me of the Port Inland Port Authority that's happening right now. Shout out to everybody who's behind working on that. So there's a lot going on here, and I do see people kind of teaming up on that end, especially when it comes to the economic development of North Omaha in this particular time as well. And that'll be something to look at and see how that's working, monitor as well, and kind of hold accountable even. So we'll definitely check it out. Also, I see Donnell Sessions in the chat saying, "Buddy, I was thinking about that too. I think of the picture of the moments captured by my son Andre Sessions Jr. His photo was featured and sold at Bemis Auction Freedom Summer.
Man,
That's what's up. I didn't realize that. Brother Andre Sessions Jr. was your son. He's one of my favorite photographers and artists out here. That I know exactly what photo you're talking about. Very interesting. Yeah, that's interesting that you. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, Freedom Summer was, I think, a very pivotal time for everybody. I think First Sky Omaha was even really born out of Freedom Summer. I can think
okay,
of Culture House really coming into prominence because of it as well. There were things that built up to it before that, but when 2020 hit, when that Freedom Summer hit, and all of a sudden we were in the center of these protests, and what happened with Brother James Scurlock and everything that went down around that time too, really defined how it was that we were going to do what we were going to do in the process. And one of the things that we have done without even really trying to do it, just inadvertently, is when we decided to continue on with First Sky Omaha, this show, when we left Mind and Soul, it was because we wanted to bring our audience and bring the people with us that we had started having conversations with. And we wanted to build a family of like-minded people, kind of morphed into this building a family of like-minded people in order to really kind of get down to it. So we've been trying to
yeah,
build the team this whole time, which is the reason why we are always bigging up chat chimers, and we even have the name chat chimers for you guys that come regularly in to have these discussions. This is the team that we built, And now, 5 years in, what can we do with our camaraderie? I would love to talk more about it.
Man, well, one thing we can do is continue to speak power to truth and, exercise our freedom of speech, at least while we can, because I'm glad that Sister Sessions brought up where Brother Sessions was doing as far as his photography and capturing some of those moments, because that's a moment in history that I don't know if we can get back to. Some of the changes, and if you remember, that was during the first Trump administration. And it seems like Trump has learned some things and changed some things in response to those protests that we saw sweep the nation. And this is leading us to this moment now with NSPM 7. If you don't know, it's National Security Memorandum 7, which is basically the legislation, or not necessarily legislation, but the papal edict, if you will, coming down from Trump, that is what's being used to deem these anti-ICE protesters as Antifa, as domestic terrorists. And again, that is a change in the landscape from those Freedom Summer protests that makes things a little more dangerous. And we have to talk about what this means, and how, again, local law enforcement agencies are responding. Because, again, if it wasn't for this current environment, the things that we're seeing and we're saying and we're feeling about, the new police headquarters on 72nd and the cybersecurity, I mean, the policing complex has been what it has been for decades, but that in this environment is definitely something of concern. Again, if you don't know, NSPM 7 was issued by President Trump earlier this year. It again was an announcement that was widely criticized as legally baseless, but it criminalizes enemies on the left. Basically, again, saying that anybody who's protesting ICE, policing, some of the things from, Palestine, going on in Palestine, basically all of these people are being deemed as domestic terrorists. Citing sources that this is from The Intercept, citing sources that included right-wing social media accounts. The bulletin described Antifa as a decentralized autonomous network of cells that stand against capitalism and want to overthrow governments they feel are oppressive through violence, and silence their opposition by any means necessary. Antifa has been very active, according to the article, the most prevalent presence during the George Floyd riots and recently during the anti-ICE protest, again conflating those two movements as domestic terrorism. The memorandum goes on to say, citing the 2020 national uprising against police brutality and the protests against U.S. immigration and customs enforcement that followed Trump's rise to power. And again, this is the environment, the backdrop, and which we're having this conversation, and now looking at what's going on with some of these cybersecurity situations, not just going on in Bellevue, but also going on nationally. I don't know if you heard about the situation in Atlanta that is tied to these trying to stop protesters. And again, fighting against the people. This is being reported as far as a federal case in Atlanta, raising questions about a privacy-focused mobile operating system, with prosecutors arguing that its features were used to erase evidence. This is coming on the heels of an Atlanta resident, Sam Tunick, who under federal statute makes it apparently a crime to destroy property in an effort to prevent it from being seized. Apparently, Tunick used an app called Graphene OS, which is an open source operating system that works on Google Pixel phones and lets users put in a passcode to wipe their device clean. Apparently, Tunick has been tied to some what they're called suspected terrorism activities because of his alleged association with the movement against Cop City, which was very, very active here in Atlanta. Again, the incident actually happened January 24th of last year. Tunick had just returned from a trip to the Dominican Republic when he was stopped for questioning. According to the court testimony, federal agents had already circulated his name and photo internally, saying again he was under investigation for his involvement in Cop City protests. Tunick was taken to a secondary screening room where multiple agents questioned him. A motion filed by his defense argues the interrogation focused on child abuse material as a pretext for investigating his connections to protest movements. So again, trying any tactic that they can to stop these protesters. The motion also states that Tunick asked 4 times to speak with the lawyer and was denied each time. Again, he's being charged for erasing evidence that may or may not have existed, which is a whole nother conversation. But again, this is just the latest chapter and indication of where this nation is going as far as policing, surveillance. Again, trying to get into this protester's phone and even um, charging him when he erased some of the data. Very, very tense situation. And I'll be honest, when we do what we do, this is definitely something that I think of as far as where this country is going.
Most def. Apple phones have a situation there too, where you can lock the phone down, erase things. You can say some words, and it'll go into a certain mode and make calls for you, and all kinds of stuff. And they kind of did this in response to 2020 as well. All this stuff comes from really what went down in 2020, and I'm seeing it continue on now as far as them cracking down on certain things. So just thinking about it that way from the technology side, there is technology out there that you can shut your phone down. We've been all last year and the year before, we were talking about what they were doing at the airports. At one point, everybody was very afraid that if you try to fly somewhere, they can confiscate your phone and look through it. They can demand that you do the face recognition on the phone in order to open it up. We were advising everybody to go back to passcodes, because then you can plead the fifth and don't have to give police the passcode to open your phone, because they were looking on people's phones and seeing what they were posting on Facebook and stuff like that, and arresting people for it. So this has been going on for a little while, and it's interesting that some of the tech companies that we are talking about a lot, that are in cahoots with the government a lot of times. It's interesting that this technology even exists on their phone at all, to be able
Man.
to put a code in and erase your phone and all that. But they know what the people want, and they got to do what the people want as well. That's just the nature of them as corporations. They're gonna have to play both sides, if you will.
Mm. Mm.
So yeah, this they talked about, that was an Android phone that you can do that with, but Apple also has some mechanisms for that. And I think the thing that stuck out to me was the police, the cops were asking them, "What's your code so I can get into your phone?"
Mm-hmm.
They gave him a code, and that code made it so that the officer actually ended up erasing the phone by putting that code in, and they're trying to act like that was obstruction of justice,
Mm-hmm.
interfering in the police investigation and all these other things they're going to try to sue him for, or arrest him for. Atlanta man charged for giving border agents code that wiped his phone. So this is brand new. This is a precedent being set here, because this is probably nothing that anybody's ever been charged for before, or had the wherewithal to even do in that way. And if somebody has done it, it's never come up as something that was a arrestable offense or charge. You can get charges for this, but now you can. So it's just the whole thing is really interesting to me. Just seeing how far they'll go on all these things, and I think that's part of it. The Pop says, yeah, no face recognition or biometric ways of getting into your phone, passcodes only.
Man.
So we're still talking about that in that way, and that's one of the ways you can stop them from getting into your phone. They can look and pull out whatever information they want to act like is Antifa information or whatever the deal. So the way that you explained that earlier, buddy, like, it's concerned to us. It's concerned to everybody who's doing any kind of investigative work or news activity or research on anything that you are fighting against, or just anything, because everything that you have there is living on your device. So if you have no way to self-destruct that device, then in a climate where they'll arrest you for your thoughts, like
Man.
1984,
Man.
then what can you do? So now if now they're going to try to act like they're obstructing justice by doing this. Kind of crazy. And it's concerning. So
It is. It is. And again, this is just in itself a canary in the coal mine, if you will, as far as where we're going. And the biggest, latest news and the latest indication of a step further in that direction is this provision being recognized as what Representative Alexandria Ocasio Cortez is calling an existential threat. This is kind of the big news from last week, and I kind of feel like a lot of people might have looked over this, or this might have flown under the radar. But again, this large 1.15 trillion dollar merger between the U.S. and Israeli militaries is something that is the big reason why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling with this hyper policing and surveillance situation. Again, if you don't know, just last week, the House, I believe, passed this merger, again known as the U.S. Israeli Defense Technology Cooperation Initiative, or Section 219. The bill directs the Department of Defense to designate an executive agent to synchronize efforts between the two countries to quote unquote expand and accelerate. Get this. Bilateral defense technology research, development, testing, evaluation, integration, and industrial cooperation. The package, collectively known as the 2027 National Defense Authorization Act, passed in the House in a 216 to 212 vote, with actually 6 Democrats voting yes for this and 7 Republicans voting no. Day before the vote, again, Ocasio-Cortez, a prominent critic of Israel's government and the Israeli government's actions, especially in Gaza, said the provision would merge parts of our military with the Israeli Defense Force. This amendment is an existential threat to American sovereignty and democracy. Every member of Congress must vote no. But again, we are waiting to see how that makes its way through the Senate. Again, the House passed this, but it still has a few more stages to go before it's an actuality. But it's kind of looking and feeling like a foregone conclusion as far as the amount of support, Democrats on AIPAC payroll, and just how this political game is playing out. It's looking like more so a foregone conclusion as far as the U.S. and Israeli militaries combining, and that those implications are frightening.
They are, and for reasons that we know because of us trying to dive in and us having these conversations with you, the chat chimers as well. Uh, and uh, and as Anthony Rogers Wright spoke earlier in the day here this morning, he talked about the fact that a lot of people are still questioning how that how that affects us, how what Israel has to do with us here. Is it seems to be a question with some people as well. So when you're feeling like it's frightening, it's because we are understanding these connections and how these are things are directly affected, especially having the example in Atlanta with Cop City and everything else that's
Mm-hmm.
going on there. That's kind of what is on my mind too. Earlier in the chat, Anthony Rogers Rice says boomerang imperialism is real. He says people get rubbed the wrong way because some want to the truth to be served with sugar. I'm from BK Harlem. I don't do Nebraska nice BS. Nebraska nice is part of racism and part placism. Interesting. Says later for that, the mayor is literally copping out when it with the budget in the Cop City proposal. Are we supposed to not say anything just because he's black? Yeah, I think that we all know
No,
that that's not where we're at. But
no,
but the Cop City proposal is the thing that's kind of standing out to me. Just the budget in the Cop City situation. We have to kind of call that situation on 72nd in Dodge kind of a little bit of a Cop City situation for sure. More surveillance there in a big way. But go ahead. Mhm.
if you remember, just throwing this out there, there was plans and proposal. I'm not sure where that story went, but there was an attempt to make an actual Cop City. If you don't know, Cop City are these large, small town esque, village esque training facilities for cops to, train on their military force practices. Again, there was a proposal to build one. I think just north of North Omaha and Fort Calhoun. I don't know again where that story went, but there are still efforts and attempts to go in that direction. So yes, you're seeing more of this on the local level.
So we start talking about Cop City and stuff like that. Here we go.
Hey, it's
Coming
surveillance,
through.
man. Surveillance.
Surveillance. Yeah, um, I think it's interesting that you're right that and I was going to mention about Cop cities. They're usually positioned right next to a black community. That's the way it is in Atlanta. They were talking about that here as well, and that's the spirit in which this thing on 72nd and Dodge is coming to me is like still part of that
Mm-hmm.
in a big way. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys bearing with us through all the technical difficulties and everything else. But every time you come back in, it makes you
Man, he took my name.
Took your name. Can't even have my own name on this thing. Have to come back and get with this. But yeah, appreciate everybody who is hanging tough with us through these technical difficulties and having this conversation as well. Can get a little bit overwhelming sometimes. It can feel that way just because um, it feels like there's so much against us with that, but there's things that can be done that we'll be talking about, especially when it comes to a building, not being outmatched here. Like we not outnumbered. We're always out organized. It's time to
Mhm,
like really get
mhm.
organized on that level, on that as well. I'm seeing Anthony Rogers right in the chat was talking about, especially when it came to some of the organizing that's happening here. Man, I'm I'm losing. There's a lot of stuff going on here in the chat. I didn't see that. Um, let's see.
Lost in the chat.
Yeah, there was something that Anthony Rogers. Oh, he's talking about. Here we go. Black Alliance for Peace. We had asked to talk a little bit more about some of the organization in the coalition building and in the team building that he's a part of. He says Black Alliance for Peace made that list. We consider it an honor and still hold our ethos of no compromise, no retreat.
Mhm.
Yeah, and of course, you you want to make sure that you have the numbers within your team and your organization together. It's not necessarily something that needs to be broadcasted out all the time, but it is something that you would know, and how many, what kind of effects that you are trying to bring on the city or the state or laws being made, and what you can affect with your team as well. So we just have to keep on coming back to that as far as any kind of solutions are concerned. Is that Kimber even said it earlier too? Kimber Snipes talked about people needing to stand up together on these things in order to be able to make any kind of change there on that. Pops
Man,
in the chat is talking more about face recognition, no face recognition, biometric ways, passcodes only. He says also if they stop you, tell them you do not consent to any searches.
man,
Lots to say there. Lots to say there. Also, Tony Johnson is talking about Tupac spoke it so well. They got money for wars, but can't feed the poor. Man, for real. And yeah, appreciate that. Appreciate everybody's comments. RG says I drove through Carter Lake last weekend. The sports complex came up quick.
yeah, they
When
threw it
when,
up.
when they want to put the money on something and make it happen, it goes
Man,
fast. Matter of fact,
man,
it goes so fast. Sometimes they did it without planning, like the kid jail, just sitting. They built that so fast and it just been sitting there. So everything else seems to move at a snail's pace. But when they want to put money down on something and do something, it'll happen.
man. Ain't that funny how it works? Like when they show interest, when they want to do something, it just always happens to get done. It just always happens to get done, which is how I'm feeling about these flock cameras, man. Again, keeping the conversation moving. I appreciate
Mhm.
what Pop said, talking about if they stop you, tell them you do not consent to any searches. Well, I hate to break it to y'all, but we're past that. We're now in a moment where they don't need your consent to search. By the time they pulled you over, they didn't already flocked your license plate, already pulled up your social media account, already went through your email, already went through your phone before they even talked to you. That's where we are now. And if you don't think that flock cameras, or if you don't know about flock cameras, or don't think that they're active in Nebraska, you're sadly mistaken. Shout out to Flatwater Free Press and Emily Wolf on the report. This is from last year, August 27th of 2025, talking about license plate readers in Nebraska and how they're helping ICE conduct immigration enforcement. Again, if you don't know about Flock cameras, Flock is one of the main surveillance corporations in the nation. When we talk about these data centers, when we talk about Israel, when we talk about the national defense ecosystem that's being built and used both internationally and domestically, let's not make any mistakes. It's the same system being used for the same reasons. It's active in Nebraska. Again, when federal immigration agents arrested Melvin Varela Perez in Omaha area July 9th of last year, they were quick to thank the local cops and other federal officials who helped crack the case. Again, if you're curious about the connection we're making between what's going on with Israel, the national ICE situation, and local police, here you have it. The Douglas County Sheriff, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, aka ATF, the U.S. Citizenship and immigration services all had assistance in the search for the Salvadoran man who had been labeled an MS-13 kingpin. Anyway, immigration and customs enforcement, homeland security, security investigations, but they again didn't mention one organization that helped in this teamwork was Flock, which again is a private company whose surveillance cameras have quietly become an important piece of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown in Nebraska, but not just Nebraska, across the U.S. The search logs obtained by Flatwater Free Press through open records requests show Flock systems in the state's two largest counties, Douglas and Lancaster, so again, Omaha and Lincoln, active already, recorded more than 20 immigration-related searches combined from January to June. The records also show that multiple out-of-state agencies granted access by local law enforcement have used cameras in Nebraska for immigration enforcement during that time period. And of course, since then, that number has grown. But the searches appear to represent a growing use for the cameras, which local law enforcement agencies across the country have used for years to investigate car thefts, assaults, drug sales, and traffic violations. Hundreds of the company's cameras monitor traffic day in and day out in areas across Nebraska. And again, to my point, when they want to do something, they get it done. I just find it very interesting with this whole Flock situation that they can find all these immigrants and they can find all these quote unquote criminals, but all these children are going missing and they don't know nothing. It's another conversation for another day. But Paul, what say you? Have you seen the Flock cameras around?
Oh, are you kidding? These are everywhere. Matter of fact, here's a map with a bunch of them in Nebraska. Yeah. Here's the thing. We're in media. I'm usually the tech guy for First Guy Omaha. I've had to purchase hard drives in order to capture video and have it available to be able to make news pieces out of or whatever we're making out of it. These shows alone, I've had to buy multiple hard drives in order for us to be able to download these shows that are 2 hours long. If you think about a 2-hour video, you're talking about a lot of gigabytes. Now these cameras are capturing constantly. Here's a map all day, every day. Here's a map of, and I don't know how accurate this map is at all. This is from an organization called DFlock. They're trying to keep an eye on these things, so just don't know how accurate it is. But there's a lot. It could be more than we're even seeing here. This is supposed to be a Nebraska area map that has all these. Now these are constantly, 24 hours a day, capturing. So here's my thoughts on that. Where is all that information being stored? Number one,
all that data.
If you want to talk about data centers, we've talked about data centers on so many different levels. When you think about it, think about the environmental situation when it comes to data centers. Think about how much water is being used. Think about our electric bills going up. That's how we started these conversations. Mm-hmm. Everybody was like, get off of AI, get off of ChatGPT, because you're contributing to the killing of the planet and the resources of the planet being depleted. We moved from that to we also are looking for reasons why it's not a good idea to bring them to our areas, not just environmentally, but how many jobs do they actually bring? 3 or 4 people that run this is supposed to just run. And then we finally got to what the real situation is that they use the data centers for data collection. And that's why these things go hand in hand with these cameras. So these cameras are 24/7 collecting, and they collect in order for them to be able to go to do tracking. How many cars do you think pass by a Flock camera a day? How many license plates do you think it's reading? The technology it takes, the AI and stuff it takes in order to be able to separate out everything that these things are capturing, especially be able to pull out license plates and stuff like that. And these things that have to run it. And also this the other part of this. As the tech guy, what I'm running right now is a 720p situation, so that my internet can go smooth. we usually run a 1080p situation. That's high definition. These can if you have if you have a 720p camera that's up on a flock pole, you're not going to be able to see license plates. You got to have at least 1080p. You probably got to
Yeah.
have 4K. The files for 4K,
Huge.
huge. You absolutely have to have a data center. I mean, we try to buy a hard drive right now and see how much it is. They're double what
Man.
they used to be. The prices are doubled because of how many times of how much hard drive space that they have bought for these data centers. They're almost outpacing how many hard drives can be made in order to capture all these things.
Bro, like one of these, this is a 2 terabyte drive. This is probably about $150, $200 now.
Yeah.
And this will get filled up in a weekend of flock cameras. Like just one weekend.
Less than that.
Flock. Right.
And the thing is that particular drive you're holding in your hand, if it's a 2 terabyte drive, you could have got it for about $70 a couple of years ago. Now it's up twice as much. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts right there. I'm gonna jump into the chat. Donnell Session says, and we're still hitting the same potholes.
Man, come on.
Yeah. Let's see. Anthony Rogers is saying water. How's about the air emissions? Yeah. The data centers in Nebraska alone are the equivalent of 10 new coal plants and 1 million new cars on the road. Goodness.
Man.
He says, and here's another stat no one is discussing. The tax incentives that data centers in Nebraska have received between 2021 and 2026 are more than the state deficit of $831 million.
Yeah, there was last season. There was a report that said the tax incentives. Actually, we have an article that again. Thank you for kind of giving us a heads up on that. We have this article about Pillen in the move he just made with the Imagine Act in Nebraska for tax incentives, which we'll get into in a second. But just the sheer number of tax incentives, and if you don't know, again, these are tax breaks given to major corporations to entice them to come into Nebraska to start jobs. But the tax breaks have gone out to the tune of, I think, $1 billion plus right now. So definitely more than the deficit, and the job creation and just the return on investment for Nebraska has been few and far between. I'll say that. So that's a whole nother conversation as far as following the money with that. But the tax incentive situation is very interesting. Again, there's some tax incentives that have been tied to Nebraska data centers that Governor Pillen just stepped back from. I'm kind of curious as to why, and we can get into that here in a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as a matter of fact, let's take a quick break and we'll come back and get into that. You're now in the third hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning. I'm sure we got a couple people in the chat that are happy about that. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back and jump into that conversation. It is really interesting what Pillen has just done for this. In this what we kind of consider a little bit of a war, a fight against these data centers coming to our city. Interesting stuff. Stay tuned. First Sky Omaha in the morning. All beat, buddy to God. Stay tuned, y'all. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha in the morning. All B, buddy to God.
Hey.
How are y'all feeling right now at 9:10?
Man.
Believing the concept of time and living in Omaha, Nebraska. The third hour of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
Black Dynamite standing ovation. Got a standing O.
He gives us a round of applause.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, bro. We'll see how it goes. Already need another cup of Joe. Uh,
Man.
yeah, man. But yeah, appreciate you guys joining us and coming back with us. Spread the word. We are going 3 hours on Mondays now. No Wednesdays anymore. And Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. is the new schedule. Just to reiterate that. Appreciate everybody who has remembered that. Please like and subscribe when you're on YouTube. Do us a favor, hit the bell so you can remember when that happens. And also throughout the week, look for some other things that we're going to be dropping. We're definitely going to diving into more journalism. We're doing a journalism expansion situation this year in a big way. And shout out to the content creator camp alumni that have put some new articles and new pieces of art in the on our website on firstsky.omaha.com. Go check that out over there, and you'll be seeing some of that stuff being posted as well throughout social media, so we can kind of spread the word there. But yeah, expanding the journalism is kind of what it's all about right now too. We're doing some deep dives in some areas. We're going to be doing some reports, namely Deuce Report, Miller Park Report is something else we're working on as well, and also a series of videos that we're working on too. We're going to continue the video series, Six to Dismiss, Lanes of Change. We got a few things coming, and we're going to continue to expand that and expand the team of journalists as well. There'll be some things that we are going to be writing that will live on the website. Look for all this in all of our social media channels. We really kind of are all about the Facebook page, the YouTube channel, and also not InDesign, uh, LinkedIn channel is what I was trying to think of. Yeah, we're doing more on LinkedIn these days as well there, so definitely go take a look at that. And then always, of course, engage with the live. That's what it's all about. Engaging with the live streams. You can always go back and check things out on our website and on our social media channels, but try to engage with the live stream. Try to come through as much as you can, and tell a friend. Let people know that we're here, and that it's time to discuss things live. It's kind of like a digital town hall type of situation that we got going here with you guys. Yeah. And yeah, we appreciate that. We appreciate everything that you guys are doing. We talk about setting intention for Mondays and for the week. So let us know if there's any events happening, any meetings coming up that needs to be addressed. I know last week Port Authority meeting happened, and Kimber Snipes was reporting that she went to that. There's a few other things that happened. We had somebody in the chat earlier this morning that said that they went to Dr. Darnisha Phillips fundraiser for the identity school that's coming together. So those were important meetings as well. And of course, we want to continue to give shout out to Leo Lewis, Senator Terrell McKinney, everybody who was behind the organizing of the fathers that came out as well. We showed a little photo of that a little earlier. Of some of the fathers that came out for that march, taking over 30th. I saw some video from some of the actual fathers that are out there too. It was real cool to see. They felt good about being out there, taking over 30th Street, and showing Omaha what's happening, showing Omaha that we stand up around here, all that good stuff. Just want to remind people, it is Good Neighbor Week. It's still going on. Shout out to Kimber Snipes and all the people over at One Omaha doing the good work. Get with her, go to the website, find out what's going on with One Omaha, be a part of that. This is also the year of the neighbor, according to Mayor Ewing, and he's got initiatives going on all the time too. We'll get back to talking to him about some of those things and other people in his office that are on the front lines of working on the things that Mayor Ewing has set forth. So shout out to him, and I will also be working on the Empowerment Network, getting them on the show to talk more about Transformation 2030. This is something that's ongoing with them as well. Shout out to them. They have a event coming up too at North High or not North. It's not at North High. I'll get you the information on that coming up shortly as well. There's a meeting that they got coming up on a Saturday. This Saturday, as a matter of fact, we'll have more information about that on Friday, and be looking at Friends of First Sky Omaha to put that on as well. So still lots going on, and of course lots to talk about. And we don't want to gloss over the fact that we are spending enough time now to kind of deep dive into some more stories and round about those stories, make them connect so that we can kind of see what we're doing, and also spend a significant amount of time figuring out what the solutions are to those issues that we're talking about too. We're not going to figure them out in one show, but we can get started on working on that, at least building the team that's going to eventually help solve some of those problems and be a part of that as well. Uh, Gathering all the lanes together in order to make a big difference. Appreciate everybody who is still here with us. Marlon Harris says hour number 3. Appreciate
Hey,
that. Black Dynamite says, Paul, how you like your mud? I got you. I like it black, brother. I like it black like the Panthers. Appreciate that. Tony Johnson says LinkedIn owned by Microsoft, strong supporters of funders of Israel government, cybersecurity, and technology. Seems like every large corporation is under the same boat for real. Black Dynamite is asking Paul a quick question. Do you know where that documentary can be seen that you shared on Friends of? Which one was that? Can't remember which one I
mm,
shared on Friends of. Let me know.
yeah.
I'll definitely direct you if I have it. Yep. There you go, man. 9:16 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, let us know what you think solutions are for some of these things. What can we do? We know voting's coming up in November. We know that whatever we do, we got to do in numbers. Which is why we talk about teamwork. What are the things that standing out to you as the things that need to be addressed first? What's the biggest concerns that you have that you feel like needs action first? If we were to prioritize what action, what would be your priority, buddy? Let me throw that over to you. Some of the things that we've talked about so far already. What do you think stands out to you as the priority of what we need to be kind of concentrating on, getting together and acting on?
Um, Protecting each other and feeding each other. Those are the two things that are coming out, sticking out. We that's kind of low hanging fruit and something we can do now as a community, come together and figure out how to make sure these events for young people are safe, and how to make sure that we as a community are holding safe spaces, that we can come together, that we can live alive with one another, kind of begin to play, so we can build that teamwork and camaraderie, to where when the work needs to be done, it's easier to get done. So that's one thing, is coming together as a community, making sure we are having safe spaces for ourselves, which is we'll get into a little bit later on, as far as the community policing aspect and some philosophies behind that. Then of course feeding ourselves. There's a lot of effort. Shout out to Black Men United with their pantry. Shout out to the homie Dom Ron over at Heart Ministry Center, and what the work that they're doing with their pantry and building the grocery store down on the Deuce. All the people involved with community gardens. Shout out to Pastor P and Claire, Claire Church. I forget the actual denomination, but feeding each other. Again, for me, the dream is self autonomy. The dream is self actualization. The dream is having agency over your own life. I mean, that's, to my understanding, the whole point of what we're trying to do here in these United States, is have some freedom, have some liberty, and nothing is more indicative of that than your ability to feed yourself.
Mm.
So those two things, feeding ourselves and protecting ourselves, are kind of the low base levels of in your Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
I hear that. Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. And seemingly two of the biggest, things impacting our community right now, not having safe spaces and not being able to put food on the table, can cause a lot of other issues that you might not foresee.
Big time. Word. Okay.
Yeah. What say you?
Yeah. For me, I like where you're going with that. I definitely think that part, the safety part. I think that also we're in an economic desert
Mm.
as well right
Hmm.
now too. A lot of people losing their jobs and stuff being too expensive. Prices going up on everything is making it hard for everybody. Seeing a lot of people do stuff like downsize, kind of move back in with family, and do whatever needs to be done on that tip. So I think that having such an unstable situation for people, especially those of us that are the ones that are trying to be the caregivers, which all of us really are. If you're an adult, then you're taking care of somebody else. That's just what it
Hmm.
is.
Hmm.
And for those of us that have taken on that responsibility, it's been real tough. So I think that's definitely part of it. I think for me, there's a crisis in the health uh, sector, and a crisis in stability, just the stability of the economy. I think those are it's pretty much the same thing. You got to make money to buy food, so you
Right,
can't.
right, right, right.
Everything is so unstable when it comes to that. That if you're in a situation where you got to buy food, then there's the case. I see Arrows 402 talking about community garden is lacking the community. Get out there and do
Yeah.
some community garden is solving some of your problem. It doesn't seems to me like the problem is bigger than you just going out, collecting your fruits and vegetables from the community garden. But sometimes you got to think about it is that simple. Like there is there is some things that we can take care of ourselves in that way. That is how everybody took care of themselves before we had the supermarket
Mhm,
system and
mhm.
everything else. So that is a very big solution too. So I appreciate you saying that as well. Yeah, so that's kind of where I stand on it. I think the stability is really tough. People losing their jobs, losing their homes, and things that are happening with people having a hard time there, and a lot of times they're doing that, they're losing that stuff because they got health issues
Mm.
that are costing so much money, or they're not able to pay for, so they just have to just suffering through. Is a real tragedy. Anytime I get any glimpse of any friends of mine or people that are living around the world, just talked to a friend of mine in London who's just like, I don't have to make like $2,000 a month, 2,000, but your equivalent of $2,000 a month for you. And it goes, I mean, because we got healthcare here, so we don't have to pay for that. And just that sentence alone was just like, even in England, everybody got universal healthcare, but like everybody.
Man, man, pretty much that's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. And yeah.
So, when I think about family members that are have to take pills, that have to get procedures, and you come from modest families that don't have a whole bunch of money to have to be able to handle that, and you have this administration taking away Medicaid and other benefits, and everybody's real nervous too about what's going to happen with their Social Security. There's a lot of people uncertainty to the point where people that I would never expect are looking at moving to other countries are looking at moving to other countries. So
Hmm.
it's that bad where you feel like you got to get out. I think about the Holocaust all the time. When I think about that, I think about when Jews over there were going, this is looking bad, y'all. We better get out of here before it gets real bad. And a lot of them got out. A lot of them got out before it got bad, and they were right. And I jumped to now because this is the only time I'm hearing the people being like, yeah, what's going on, what's going on in Panama, let's go check
Man,
out. Yeah, man. So that to me is if we don't kind of put ourselves together, gather together and figure and have be strategic in figuring out how we stay here and thrive. That to me is the most important thing. And I think that everybody has their own their beliefs. There's a lot of stuff that ain't gonna get fixed. It really is gonna be God that's gonna fix it. So sure that part of yourself up as well, because when it's all said and done, if you ain't gonna be able to you can't just survive just to keep on being out here fighting each other. It's if you don't have yourself right spiritually, then you in trouble.
yeah.
You're just in trouble.
I mean, there's things you can control, and there's things that you just can't control. And the things that you can't control, you definitely have to give up to a higher being, or something else, to ease the mind. But yeah, yeah, I definitely appreciate your sentiment on that, and we gotta live alive with one another, man. I mean, it can be done. It has been done, and I personally have faith that it will be done. But yeah, yeah, we definitely have to get back to the basics, if you will. And I do feel like it's not going to be the grandiose gestures. I think it is going to be the small things that actually have the biggest impact. And that's what I think of when I think of community policing, and some of the
Mm.
philosophies and movements that I'm seeing from particularly brother Leo Lewis, again starting the show off with the men's march that he did. But I want to round back around and end the show with some of his philosophies and what that's going into, because again, it's not just about recognizing men as fathers, and that's the end all be all. But it's recognizing men who are active in the community, to build that team, to start to pull these men together, to create these forces, that we need in the community for community policing. Again, there's a 4-tier approach that Brother Leo Lewis has to community policing, with the actual police force being the last approach, being the last level of that. And before then, you have security forces like what Brother Kasim is doing, and some of the other black-owned security forces in our community that are doing a great job in making sure concerts and events are safe. But there's also the grassroots community level where Brother Leo Lewis is working. If you've seen like things at um, Native Omaha days, where the brothers at the parades and out on the streets giving out water. Now that might be a small thing, but if you really look at it, it has a huge impact and the ability to, one, literally cool people off. We all know when things get hot, when people physically get hot, the energy gets up, and the incidents happen during those times. People get annoyed, people get hot, bothered, and just tempers get to flaring. So passing out water actually is a, in my opinion, a revolutionary way to kind of intersect in those opportunities. You see somebody that's physically and emotionally hot, cool them off with some water, distract them. But also not just that, being in those spaces, not as a oppressive police force with a gun and a badge and a utility belt, like Batman coming through, but just looking like a part of the community goes a long way. So again, we can talk about that more. I know, Paul, you were at that meeting. The meeting I'm referring to. I definitely would love to hear your thoughts on what you saw from Brother Leo Lewis and his approach to this whole situation. But this is my solution. This is, kind of where I say we should go as far as combating this surveillance, this mass surveillance that's going on. And I, have some feelings about where that's coming from as far as, the slave catchers and the mass surveillance. Where's your papers? Like, that energy has existed in this country for a long time. And what we're seeing with all of this flock and all of that, I believe is just another iteration of that. And to combat that, again, taking agency in our own communities. A big shout out to Brother Leo Lewis and the work that he's trying to do in that regard.
Yeah, I definitely took away from that meeting too, just that 4-tier approach, which is really anything that we can do in front of the police having to be involved. I think it actually makes the police being involved more palatable. It makes sense more, because if the first three things didn't work, then it's probably wild enough to have to call the police on. And we can't deny that there is situations that do need the way that the police have to handle certain things a lot of times. But again, I think that a lot of it can be avoided by thinking outside the box when it comes to the community being a part of taking care of it. You mentioned this passing out waters. They were doing more than passing out waters. They're asking people,
Yeah,
"You all
man.
right?" And it's not just looking like the community; it's being a part of the community and walking up to people that you know. Hey, man, how you doing? You look like you hot. Let me here's some water. Everything cool? Everything cool? We need to go talk to somebody. What's happening? They checking in with people as they are passing waters out as well, and they're passing waters out to people who are not just people they don't know, but because they're part of the community, they're passing out to people who they do know and are knowing better because they're interacting again with the passing out of waters and so on and so forth. So there's to me there's a lot to it. It's a we complain about a lot of times you hear this idea, the solution that that the police need to be patrolling the neighborhoods again so they can get to know the young people in the neighborhood. Let's have soccer games and let's do all this other stuff so you can get to know the police. And let's build a beautiful facility on 72nd and Dodge so that you can come in and meet the police and shake hands with the police and all this mess. And the reason these are all things that they're saying will be the solution. And when we talked to the mayor, we asked him the mayor about what he thinks about community policing too, and that was his idea too. Community policing being the police having more to do within the neighborhood, patrolling neighborhoods and walking up and down the street and knowing the people in the neighborhood and all that. It's never what I'm talking about when I'm talking about policing, self-policing. I'm talking about us being our own police in our neighborhoods. And if things get too bad, then you can call the police force to come and make sure and come and do whatever needs to be done there. But I'm definitely more talking about people doing the kind of work that Leo Lewis is talking about doing, and
Mm-hmm.
Sherman Wells and them who I see in the chat. Good morning. Does these are the brothers that know these people in the neighborhood. You can go up to these people in the neighborhood and be like, yo, chill out. What's going on? What's happening? What, let's, what I'm saying? I've never
Mm-hmm.
seen a fight. I've never seen a fight a fight get broken up when there were people around that people knew, then people jump in first. You see fights happen, people. If I see a fight in front of me and I know both people, I'm jumping in. I'm trying to jump between them. Like that just naturally happens when you know people.
Mm-hmm.
If it comes down to the fact that a cop gotta come out and get in his car and drive all the way over and get out of his car and go over there and break something up, then something was real wrong in the first place, because that should have been handled way before they got there by whoever's around. So when I'm seeing these big, this is the reason why we had such a successful Native Omaha Day situation. I'm understanding now it's because of this kind of 4-tier situation that's happened here. We talked about Sentinel Force. We talked about Brother Kasim in the security teams. We also talked about stuff that Sherman Wells is a part of too, X Watch and these other
Yeah.
organizations. But this is all the Guardian Angel stuff from back in the 70s, New York style. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Number one, the folks that helps. Number two, you from the community, that helps. Number three, you out here with the purpose of trying to keep the peace, that helps. When you're Sentinel Force, when you're a company like Brother Kasim has, he's training folks not to go off every time somebody provokes them. He's training them how to be a professional security team that doesn't get provoked over petty stuff and make even more of the problem. I've seen that happen. I used to work for Anthony Davis and Associates in California, bro. And some of them crews was bad as the people we was guarding, because they got that mentality of they can crack heads if they just
Hey,
bad news.
Police, ain't it?
I mean, usually was a lot of people that wanted to be on the police force that couldn't, so now they join the security force and they think they are mini police. I can say that because I work for them. So I was
Heist. I don't know where that came from.
There's some ice in my cup here.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
Coffee. Yeah, man. So yeah, I would love to have Brother Leo Lewis on, learn more about that. I'd love to have Brother Kasim on. Brother Sherman too. He's been Sherman Wells. He's been a very big part of organizing situations where there's safe passing, safe events happening, and being a part of it. And I can see X Watch growing. I can see a lot of these situations that can really help. Kind of got it dialed in, to be honest. Like even with Empowerment Network, hiring certain people to come in and do things too. Everywhere I go, if I see Brother Sherman, if I see Brother Kasim, if I see Brother Jahi Shabazz that's in here, appreciate you. If I see them standing there, they usually standing there in the corner, arms crossed, looking around, making sure it's all cool.
Man,
so way more safe, man. From the day that I met Brother Kasim at that rally over at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation that day, and walked up on a brother with a full on strap, as security, was shocking to see for me at first here in Omaha, and then ever since then realized that if he's standing around there, if they're standing around there, we cool. Because way more than the feeling that we get sometimes when we pull up on something and there's a bunch of police out there, like Native Omaha Days late night, they stand on the street. The feeling that you get is not, oh, we're gonna be safe tonight. The feeling that you get is, oh, okay, people gonna be mad they're standing out here.
Yeah,
might be something that goes down. But the difference between going somewhere where Brother Sherman Wells and them is there is it's.
I'll give you one example.
Go ahead.
One example. Brother Leo Lewis kind of gave this story about the Native Omaha Days and how the police were standing in the streets, and if y'all was out there, y'all remember after a certain point, they like, okay, they trying to clear it out, and people are still, there's no violence going on, there's no tension, people are still out there just mingling, living alive with one another. But the police started to march and locking rank and file, trying to clear people out the streets. And Brother Leo Lewis told the story of him going through the crowd, telling people they can't arrest you if you're on the sidewalk, and just the mentality, like the separation of mentality, and let's lock arms, get in rank and file, and march down the street to this oppressive force trying to force these people to move out of the way, rather than just making sure these people are safe and making sure they're following the law. Like that's a whole different mentality.
Yeah. Um, and again, it's a tough job. You got to try to figure out. There is a point at which people need to go home, and if they call that, then they need to do that. You can't just also be out there patrolling until 4 or 5 in the morning. There is a point at some point where people got to go. How you handle that? There's probably some better ways, better solutions, but in the end, it really does not. I feel like it this 4 tier approach that we keep talking about, where the police is the last bastion of anything. There's a lot that can be done within this approach before you get there, and I feel like I've seen it at work. I've seen it at work. I'm gonna jump in the chat. I see brother Jahisha Baz in the chat says 72nd Street is the center line. The new police
Mm.
station will coordinate with the data center for control and processing of people and fill the brand new $300 million prison. There are the preliminary steps of globalization. They're doing it around the country.
Yep.
Appreciate that. Going back to that. Yep. Definitely. Michael Lee in the chat. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Good morning.
Peace.
See Sherman Wells flexing with us. What's happening, brother Wells? Appreciate you. Also, Tony Johnson said, would love to see mixed leadership at these events. Elected leaders hand in hand with the Black Fathers would have been great.
I mean, if
That Fathers March.
if I'm not mistaken, that was a situation. At least I know Senator Terrell McKinney, who was an elected official, was out there. The others, I'm not sure. I don't know if Mayor Ewing made an appearance. I don't know. I'm just saying, but yeah. There's a few out there.
Yeah. Marlon Harris says, block out a few days for me this season. I got a few things in the works and about to come up soon. Yeah, we got you, bro.
Okay.
We remember that
Sure.
from last season. Also, Black Dynamite was talking about that organization that put out that film. So I'm putting that link in the chat right now. It's a company called Valley Club Films. They actually shoot films all around the country. They just happened to come to Omaha and they shot that one, and then they just shot another one in Omaha as well. So definitely go check their Facebook page out, and you can search out that documentary film. That's the one you're talking about there. Yeah, it was. He says they were talking about North O, Camden Block, and Buzz Gym, how they help keep the kids out of trouble. Yeah, that's the second one they came out with is the one about Buzz Gym. So yeah, they actually did good work. People were kind of upset about it because it seemed like they were the title of it was the title of the one that they showed was like YNs of Omaha. And it felt a little triggering. Actually watching it though, you see that they're highlighting some brothers that are doing some good stuff in hood, and that's and so yeah, they kind of earned their reputation a little bit around there. I think brother Kasim was saying something about that too. So definitely check that out and check out some more work. There's some work that we're putting out there like that we're working on right now too, in the same vein of trying to show some of the positive, some of the things that's happening here that is news as well. It's not just all bad news. So again, man, just going back to that, I just kind of I would love to have brother Leo Lewis on again to talk about some of these things. I've seen it successful already. I feel like it's been successful already. Look at us. Tell you what. Yeah, the Gremlins. But I feel like I've seen some success all the way around. I've seen events that happened that Brother Kasim and his team were securing. He told us himself when he came on the show last about situations where he was like, "Hey, this situation is not good. We shouldn't do this one." Let them know. So again, feeling safe in our neighborhoods, feeling safe in events and things like that are happening. I think that we have an advantage of having some of the folks that we have here on those things, and we can kind of continue on that. It was successful at the last Native Omaha Day, as far as I'm concerned. Shout out to Empowerment Network, Leo Lewis and them. Shout out to the police, even like the police even acting like they had some sense that time, and it was a successful time. There was some violence and stuff that happened late night afterwards. But as far as the as many people was out there for Native Omaha Days, the last time, that 4-tier situation really did do a lot of good, as we could see. Felt very safe walking down the street. I remember walking down the street with you. We were walking the babies over to the bouncy houses and all that, just feeling like we home. You know what I'm saying? It felt home. It felt like you don't have to worry about nothing. And it
That
was,
part.
and part of the reason why we didn't see a whole huge police presence when we were walking down there either. It was really just like, the community out, which is exactly what it was.
That's what it's about.
Anthony Rogers Wright says reclaiming Malcolm X coming to UNO for Black August, more deep soon. But we're taking Malcolm back and discussing how he was an internationalist at heart, Cuba, Africa, Palestine, and more. That's what's up. So
Dope.
hopefully this will help with the far too many cases of Malcolm misinformation going on in Omaha. Okay, sounds good. We'll have to talk more about that. Most
Yeah.
definitely. Are you working with the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation on that? Let us know what you got going on there. Love to hear about it. That's all definitely something that we're highly interested in. Of course, the legacy of of Malcolm X in Omaha is super important for everything, for all of it,
Yeah.
in the spirit of people coming together in order to be able to fight some of the stuff that's here. If we didn't have Malcolm X here, when you think about the last 10 years of everything that's been going on here, think about how important and
Man.
how pivotal Malcolm X Memorial Foundation was when that rally happened, uh, and everything else that's gone. I mean, think about My Omaha movie that just got
Hmm.
picked up by Independent Lens.
I
You know,
mean, even us.
even
Even
us,
us. I,
Mind and
I
Soul.
wonder. I wonder if we would be carrying on this energy if it wasn't, for mind and soul, and us, embodying and taking on the spirit of the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation and just the mission of Brother Malcolm. Had we done a radio station that wasn't tied to the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation and the legacy of Malcolm, I don't know if we would have approached it the same way.
I think you're right. I think of the Afro American bookstore being a part of that legacy. I think about
Hmm.
the classes you was teaching over there, the
Man,
the
man,
instruction from from everybody who we got through there, and then being so closely related because of Brother Taylor over at Malcolm X Moore Foundation.
rest in
There's just a
peace.
lot. There's a lot that when I first got in town and kind of found out about things happening back in 2010. That's what I came away with. Oh, there's a real source of revolutionary spirit here because we're in the birthplace of Malcolm X, and that makes some sense. And it
Hmm.
was almost like I know it had been here for a while, but it was almost like we were coming up with a generation of people that were just learning about that, knowing about that. Leo Lewis had just found out about it a few years before we got there.
Man,
Even that part of it. So yeah, I think it's an important part of the identity of Black Omaha, especially. And I'm glad to see what's going on with it, and I'm glad to see that's always a reference point. It's a reference point for a lot of us, and I can see it's going to be that with you and your organization, Anthony Rogers Right, too. Now it's a reference point. We can start there. If we
man.
need to do something for Black liberation, we got an example of a homegrown person right here in North Omaha that was part of that legacy. So expound on that. We always are talking about legacy, living
Man.
gold legacy. Is what we're all
There
about.
you go. There you go. Foundation to build on. And speaking of that, let's build on this foundation that we said today and finish this off with our intentions, if that's all right.
Love it.
Last 15 or so minutes of the show. Of course, talked about some of the issues, talked about some possible solutions, talked about the wins. And now, again, let's look forward on this week and set our intentions. If that's all right, definitely want to start off with some news items, just a couple to get in before we get out of here. And one of them is letting the people know about tomorrow. It is going down Omaha City Council agenda. So that's one of the intentions. Hopefully, we can get some people to come out, speak out, have their voices heard at this upcoming Omaha City Council meeting. There are a few high dollar issues to look out for. Paul, you might enjoy hearing this one. Apparently, number 30 on the agenda item is a public hearing on approving a $200,000 grant for local artists, local art to design, install, and manage public art improvements for 4 city-owned parking garages. So some art going up in parking garages, $200,000 possibly getting set aside to pay for some of that.
Dang, that's a lot of money.
It is. It is. I'll take it. I mean, it's not quite 181 million, but couple 100,000. I'll take it. Also, a public hearing covering a financing package for Omaha Streetcar, which includes a $125 million revenue bond. That's apparently going to be proposed again. $125 million revenue bond on the streetcar project. Also, approval for TIF for an apartment complex near 26th and Center. And one of the big things, again, a first reading on an item that would put $155 million bond issue on various municipal buildings across the city. Now, so some more bond issues and 30 million for park and rec improvement projects. So some money's going out at tomorrow's city council meeting, and you have an opportunity to first hear the intentionality behind some of this, and then voice your opposition or support on some of these projects. So again, making sure that we're active, and city council meetings are one of the few opportunities that we have to speak up and have our voices heard on some of this stuff. So let's seize the opportunity. Let's
There you
seize it.
go. And if you happen to not be able to make city council meetings or see them broadcast, you can always tap in with documenters, our documenters
Hey, hey.
partners. Here's the documenters, the Omaha documenters page. They talk about Lincoln City Council meeting coming up, Ralston Board of Education meeting, Gretna Public Schools Board and Education meeting, Lancaster County Board of Commissions meetings, pre-council meetings, city council meetings. These are all the meetings that are assignments for the Omaha documenters to go in and cover. And so you can expect reports from the people that cover those as well over there at documenters. And if you want to become a documenter, definitely go to omahadocumenters.com, sign up, and get a little money to go to these meetings that maybe you're already going to go to anyway, and be able to report on them. Get a little training on how to make sure that you are able to take the right kind of notes and come back and form a report. And a lot of times we and other news groups draw from those reports in order to talk about what we're talking about here. So shout out to a documenters program that are making that happen.
Big time, big time. And actually, on that note, another one of my intentions for this week is just continue building. Again, shout out to our content creator camp alumni. Those articles and projects are available on our website now. There's several community members who we've been talking to about joining the team and making that dream of citizen journalism a reality. So again, that's kind of my intention for this week, is to continue to work on that and build that out. And very excited to bring some of these stories that we're identifying and just some of these things that we're working on to all of you. So that's my professional or work intention, and then a little personal intention. I don't know if you saw, I reposted a list of side quests, 33 side quests to make life a little interesting, a little more interesting. A lot of them involving meeting with strangers, talking to strangers, as far as just engaging with people, living a life. Talk to somebody that you might not talk to. Go to a restaurant by yourself. Just experience life and living alive outside of this matrix, outside of this internet sphere, outside of the phone. Put the phone down. Go touch some grass. Go hug a tree. Go take a walk in a park. Go live a life. Go take on a couple side quests. So again, that's kind of my intention for this week. Paul,
Love that.
what say you?
Yeah, my personal, I've been keep on thriving from the energy of my travels. These travels always give you a
Hey,
certain kind
hey.
of energy. Shakes up your schedule, shakes up your routine, and there's a certain kind of energy that you have when you're out on movement and the things that you're doing out when you're on a trip. The way you spend money is different. Everything is different when you're on a trip, when you
Man.
take a little walkabout. So I always love to come back in town and keep vibing with that energy, with that kind of energy, keep moving in that direction. You're a little bit more in the moment. When you're at home, you get real comfortable. Sometimes you start stocking the freezer and doing all that stuff. When you're on vacation, hey, you hungry? You hungry right now? Let's go grab something now. Let's go make it happen. So it's a different kind of
Word,
energy.
word.
Trying to keep that energy. I got very much inspired by being around a lot of family who are working on things too, and doing a little living alive with one another. Unfortunately, I had a friend who had a son that passed away, and we were there with that, trying to manage that grief, and in the
Mm-hmm.
process, found joy in just reconnecting and with
Mm.
with those people. And these are people from a different life, a different creative life of mine. So I was able to. I really feel like continuing on with that energy, thriving on that. And everybody at that moment was really feeling like, hey, man, well, there is nothing more important than us being together and us, being around your family, spending time with your family, nothing else.
Man.
It was good to see all my old friends and family come to that conclusion that you just naturally come to this live alive with one another is the only thing that you got. So yeah, my intention this week is to kind of keep that energy as we expand work wise as well in that way. Lots that has to be done. Actually taking some classes this week as well, so
Hey.
expanding on what it is that I'm trying to do. Shout out to the POC. They're putting a course together here that's going to be the week long situation that I'll be involved in. So learning some new things,
Hey,
expanding journalism, expanding the business, expanding personal and professional, um, just just uh, just personally and professionally, just expanding in general. And yeah, really looking forward to that and reconnecting with people on that level. So that's my intention for the week. I'm very much ready to get going on it. I hate leaving the West Coast, but I was anxious to get back. As you know, when
mm,
you got things that you are anxious to do, and things that, you know, when you got your irons in the fire, you're ready to go back and make something happen. So I'm
right.
definitely feeling like that right now, and I'm glad I'm back in town. Glad I'm getting back to a certain routine with the energy of travel, the energy of cloud hopping, and ready to get back to it. So there you go. Let us know what your intentions are for the week as well. How you feel about what it is you're going to try to get done this week, or how you're going to live this week. Even what kind of attitude you're going to set for yourself to have this week. Is this going to be a hard week? You're anticipating a hard week, or you need some help, need some sure up. You know, just let us know. Speak out, reach out. Let us know. We definitely want to try to help us as a community of people. Make sure that we got everything we need in order to be okay. Number one being some air conditioning today.
Keep it cool. Keep it cool.
There you go. Um, Let us know how you like the 3 hour show. Seemed pretty natural for us to continue the conversation there. And let us know what else is going on as far as HAPS is concerned. Again, this is coming. I think this is coming up. This is the 27th of July. So these August shows are going to come up quicker than you think.
Man,
Uh,
around the
shout,
corner.
shout out to that. Shout out to Noma Fest that's coming through here on August 13th through the 16th. And also Diggable Planets, man, coming up. Just check out 1%, September 27th. It's going down. It's going to come faster than you think. So we're
Man.
putting all these things out there. Also, shout out to Noma for doing their summer vacation thing as well. They're going to be good. They just wrapped up on the 24th. So we'll check in with them, see how that summer music camp went, and get some information on the next time they're going to do these camps for these kids as well. You got kids that are trying to get down for play some live music. This is the way to go. It's the way to go. So yeah, man, that's what it is. Let me check the chat, see what's going on here. I see
Yeah.
yeah, what's happening? I see Michael Lee also check out Black in Action Collective. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
there you go. RG likes the RG in Black Dynamite like the 3 hours. No shock there. No shock there. Love it. Love it. Yeah, man, this is good. I appreciate everybody who stayed the whole show, and I also appreciate you who've come in and out of the show according to what you had to do this morning as well. If you missed any parts of the show, you can go back and check it out in its entirety on YouTube. Like and subscribe over there. Hit the bell. Remember, we're not here on Wednesday, but we are here on Friday, and not in the morning. It's going to be Friday from 4 to 6 p.m. First Guy Omaha in the evening.
Hey, in the evening.
There you go. Anything else we're leaving out here in the last 7 minutes? I'm looking because I
Yes,
see yeah.
a couple things jumping out. Seems like our brother Anthony Rogers Wright has some folks he's bringing to the community. He says we're bringing the legendary Ajimo Baraka to lead the event.
What?
So okay, hey,
I
definitely have to
missed that.
highlight that one.
That's what's up. Okay. Now the rest of the chat's coming up. Okay, cool.
Yeah, bringing some heavy hitters.
RG said also Miss Island Chill didn't know about Noah Fest, so I had to clue her in about it. That's what's up. We
Man, hey,
actually
tell a
talked to her
friend.
about some of these festivals that we can get on with the Island Chill and a First Sky booth or something like that. We got to figure it out. Kobe
Hmm,
Black Diamond said Chance the Rapper is supposed to be here as well. That's crazy.
really?
That's crazy. Sherman Wells, good. He said, "A good show, brothers. I think we all have our ideas for the community, and it may not look the same, but end goal is the same. And if everyone can respect other people's approach, we would be good. This is
Come
why
on, man.
this is lanes of change, bro. We want to
Come on, man.
respect each lane because that's an approach by somebody else. There's somebody doing something. We all go in the same direction, though. Can we just recognize that we might all have different styles, but we're going in the same direction for the same goal. We're trying to reach the same dream. So let's go ahead and be the team.
Hmm.
What's all about? Brother
There
Wells,
you go.
appreciate all the work that you're doing as well. News Gang for sure, for sure. I definitely want to get with you soon on some of that stuff, the News Gang stuff that you put together that I wasn't able to attend because I was out of town. We'll talk about it and have you on the show and see what we can do there. So I appreciate you guys that's continuing on the fight. Definitely check out Sherman L. Wells at on everything TikTok,
Man.
YouTube, Facebook. He's all over the place. You can see previous episodes of Sermon with Sherman, and then hit that bell so that you can make sure that you see the next one when he comes up as well, for sure.
Man. Yeah, brother's been picking it up with the sermons with Sherman, so definitely check those out. Getting back in the swing of things with that. So I appreciate you, brother, with the work that you're doing, for sure.
We definitely have a lot of things that we're going to report on, and we always want to hear from you about what reports you want to hear, what organizations you want to hear from, what individuals you want to hear from in the community, and if you have any individuals out there that you feel like is doing the coalition building, the building of teams that are leaders in that sense, that are putting teams together in order to go for some action. Those are the people we want to talk to. So we absolutely would love your suggestions on that, so that we can bring them on the show and have a conversation. Hit us up at firstsky@gmail.com to do so, or the Friends of First Sky Omaha group page on Facebook. Yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna be good. I'm more encouraged. I started off the show a little bit worried about the teamwork aspect when I'm digging in and trying to figure out exactly how we're gonna promote teamwork, exactly how we're gonna build teams, exactly what dreams we're gonna we're gonna accomplish with these teams. I got a little nervous, man. I got a little nervous. So Omaha has a little bit of an issue sometimes when it comes to people getting together. It's sometimes a little cliquish.
Yeah.
I hear white folks always talk about that too. Omaha's so cliquish when it comes to the art world and everything else, and they recognize it too. And we over here on our side, we say silos, like everybody working in a silo over here,
Mm-hmm.
which is you just working in your own situation with no collaboration with the next person in another silo. This is something that we got to fix. So the very first thing that happened, I come on. Kimber Snipes is on. She reminds me we can start at the neighborhood level on some team building, and then of course we're ending the show out here with words from Brother Sherman Wells, who's also a coalition builder as well, and is trying to get people together, have these conversations, have the Black conversations that we need to have the community conversations that we need to have the parental conversations we need to have about your
Man.
bad kids. No, I'm just playing. All that. So yeah, man. So I got some hope here at the end of the show about how we're gonna build teams and collaborate and get to these dreams. Appreciate you guys.
There you go. There you go. Hopefully, we have inspired you as well, leaving you off with some hope here. And that's our goal. That's our goal to inform you, leave you informed about what's going on, but also leave you with some hope about the fact that you can do something about it. So we appreciate you. We love you. We thank y'all all for tuning in with us. Paul B, we getting out of here. What you got for the people?
Yeah, man. Let's go ahead and get out of here. Shout out to the Umaha tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Shout out to our elders allowing us to speak before you. And shout out to you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. Thank you for engaging in this conversation, and I hope that you will continue to do so. And let's take this from conversation to action. Really
Hey.
appreciate that. Pops says, enjoyable show as always. See you Friday evening. Appreciate you, Pops. Again, just to make sure that you are aware of our new schedule. We are 7 to 10 a.m. on Mondays. We are not doing Wednesdays this season, and we will be doing Friday evenings from 4 to 6 p.m. for First Sky Omaha in the evening.
In the evening.
At that point. So yes, we will see you on Friday live, but be looking out for other things that we are dropping throughout the week as well on our social media channels. And please go check us out at the website and check out the articles from the Content Creator Camp alumni that are there. We're going to be building upon that as we go. So thank you for doing that already. Also, thank you for all the people that have donated to the cause as well. All of our $10 people, $25 people, the $50 people. Thank you. If you're so inclined to become a member of the or a sponsor of the channel, hit us up, firstsky@gmail.com. We would love for you to hit us up about being sponsors. And if you just want to sign up and be a member, you can go to firstsky@omaha.com, hit the join button, and become a member of the channel as well. So thank you. I see William King in the chat. What's going on?
Hey.
Boss, 95.7, the boss in the house. Appreciate
Boss
you, bro.
with us.
Appreciate you. We can get out of here. Take
RG, letting them know, hey, don't roll up in here on Wednesday. End up sitting by yourself.
You sitting there looking at somebody else's broadcast.
I'll see you on Friday.
Peace, y'all.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red, the black,